Oh, 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 no.
I don't need negative energy, wrap me in positive synergy. I have been doubted through life, been there and done that with trifling people who told me my style would not work. I told them they wrong, been struggling too long. This song is for you, I'm proving you wrong.
Get out my way, get out my way, get out my way, get out my way.
I'm a genuine person. Like if I love you, I love you. If I don't mess with you, I don't mess with you. It's as simple as that.
I already know. Don't send me no nasty messages saying stuff I ain't never heard. That's unfair. You don't want to see nothing. I already
you
know.
Already know. You already know. You ain't old enough for none of that. Singing your heart out like you really know that song.
What's going on, y'all? How y'all doing? How is everybody? Welcome to Atmos Love Zone. Tonight, we're going to get into another reading. Those that click in, I got the link at the top. Any readers I have out there that want to come in and help us, it is greatly appreciated. Riri, thank you for coming back. Man. So, yeah, man. So I think, let me see. I think Johan is busy, so I'm gonna fill in for Keith Murrell on the stand. I don't know who else is gonna come in here. However, we're going to get this thing started. How was your day today?
It was cool. It was good, chill.
You just getting off work, right?
Huh?
You just got off work, right?
No work today.
Oh, good. So you off tomorrow too?
Yeah.
Yay. Yep. Let's see who up in here rocking with us tonight, man. We got Daddy's Girl, 1973. She was first. Woo, woo. What's good? It's Quay. What's going on, Quay? Flawless, hello. Angela Anderson, hello. Tavia the Savior, hello. How are you? Sonia Davis, what's going on? Mertice Balaam is in the building. What's up, Flawless? How you doing?
Hey.
Hey. Let's see who else we got. K-Love92, what's up? Cherie Harris, hello. Let's see who else. Jay McBride, what's good? Let me see here. Who else? We got Conchita, hello. How are you? We got Shirley, hello. How are you? Joel Jackson, what's good? Shay Jim Drop. Shay, can you come on and read? Let me see. Hey everyone, going to have to be in the bushes because I'm okay. All right, no problem. Let me see.
Hey, Titi.
There she goes. What's up, Tanya?
Hey.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. How are you today? How's the babies?
She's in bed. I got the boy watching her.
Okay, cool.
Sorry about that.
No, man, stop. I appreciate you. Thank you.
We were actually late getting home because my parents got a new puppy today, so we went to see it. Yeah.
Yay. What's up, Nakia Harris? How are you? Thank you for coming in. Let me see. T-Band 1 is in the building. Daughter of the Most High, what's good? Let me see. Jacqueline Jones, hello. Take R. Kelly and give us Tupac back, please. Hello. Let me see. Okay, I think Nunya, what's up, Nunya? Love is fair. Hello. Y'all hold one moment. I'm back, y'all. Thank you. Okay, let me see. Who else? Let me see. Who else? I think I got Tony. What up, Tony? How are you? Lesmit One. Hey, Lesmit One, can you come on today? If you can, that would be great. Let me see. Who else? Okay. All right, what's up, Miss Jersey D? Hello, how are you? I seen some of y'all with Jamaica Taylor. Hello, how are you? Yeah, we jamming, man. We be jamming up in here. Okay. So y'all, we about to, I think I got everybody. Yes. What's up, awesome KJ? What's good? How are you? Okay, West Coast Bells. What up, West Coast Bells? Okay, so we got some people up in here tonight. What's up, Lesmit One? How are you?
Hello, how are you today?
I'm great. Thank you for coming back. I appreciate you.
No problem.
Grace Sarline, hello. How are you? All right, y'all. We're gonna go ahead and get started. Tim ATL, what's good? Okay, here we go, y'all. So we are back into what up, Shay?
Hey.
I know you're busy, so I know you probably in and out. Well, thank you. We missed you, man. I miss seeing you.
Yeah, I missed y'all too. I've been having
Hey,
a lot of things
Shay.
going on. Hey.
I understand.
Hi, Shay.
Well,
Hey,
thank you for
everybody.
jumping in.
You're welcome. It's a pleasure to be here.
Indeed. Okay, y'all. So we're gonna go ahead and jump into this here. We are at the top of page 2231. You do a really great job on Bonjean. Tanya. So I'm gonna leave you as Bonjean for
Okay.
now.
Yep.
Riri, if you could play the government. If you could, Lesmit one. You seem to do really good with jumping in and filling in. If you could play this Miss Judge, I'll switch you in and out with the government, and then we'll switch out with Bonjean too. And if you could, Flawless, if you could fill in with a court reporter, and I'll get you some more into. I'll try to use everybody, okay? And Shay, you too. I'll switch you in and out with Bonjean if you're still around. But I thank y'all for giving me a plethora of amazing readers here that we can basically get through this tonight, okay?
Okay.
All right, so we'll start with that. So Miss Judge seems to start it off. Who did I say? Miss Leslie? You'll be Miss Judge. Okay, so we're gonna start here at the top.
No Johan tonight.
Johan is with his kids. So I told him go and spend that family time.
He gets a pass. He gets a pass.
Indeed. So I'll jump in and fill in for Johan. I'm not gonna probably do it as good as him, but I'll just jump in. All right, so it jumps in. Let's start with the question here at line 25, where this is Palozzo questioning Keith Murrell on the stand. So that would be you, Riri, coming in as Miss Palozzo. Huh?
I'm Palozzo. Okay, got
Pozzolo, yeah.
Okay, what line are we at? Top
25.
Okay.
I got it. Tom, if you can see it.
Yeah, I got it. Do you recall who else was on the videotape?
Man, I don't recall.
Do you recall whether it was a threesome video or just Robert Kelly and one other person?
Objection, he answered. He doesn't remember.
Well, maybe. Go ahead. You can answer. It was Robert Kelly and the other one and the other person.
And was Lisa in the video that Charles Freeman showed to you?
No.
Do you recall the setting of either of the video that Charles Freeman showed you?
Atmos, I think you're on mute.
You're right, I am. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like in the living room, like one scene, and another one was like in a living room, in a bedroom, or something like that.
And was it the same girl in both of the scenes?
Yes.
And in the video that Mr. Freeman showed you, did Mr. Kelly and the girl talk about the girl's age?
I'm going to object. This has been introduced. I mean, through Mr. Freeman, there's been evidence presented. I don't know the relevance of having Mr. Murrell describe what he saw. I'm not following the relevance of that.
Objection sustained.
Directing your attention to 2008. Did you travel to Chicago?
Yeah.
And who did you go to Chicago with?
Ask that question one more time.
2008, did you travel to Chicago?
Yes.
And who did you go to Chicago with?
Chuck.
And what was going on in Chicago at the time that you and Mr. Freeman made the trip to Chicago?
I mean, he was supposed to meet with Daryl, June and Daryl. Objection. Oh, sorry.
Objection, speculation, Judge. We had this ruling yesterday morning.
Objection sustained.
Why were you and Mr. Freeman traveling to Chicago?
So he can meet with the other one. You know, one of the.
Objection, Judge.
Objection sustained.
So Mr. Freeman was planning on having a meeting in Chicago, is that right?
Yes.
And why were you coming?
Because I wanted to speak with Rob.
Why did you want to speak with Robert Kelly?
Because all this time I never had a chance to talk to him about, me having the tape and all that type stuff.
And what did you want to tell Mr. Kelly about the tape?
I'm not sure how this is relevant. I mean,
objection sustained.
At the time that you traveled to Chicago, was it leading up to Mr. Kelly's trial?
And when you're aware of the charges in the case? Oh, damn. Oh, yes. Sorry.
That's all right. And were you aware of the charges in the case?
Yes.
And you stated that you previously, in 2007, had a tape with Mr. Kelly, Lisa, and another girl, right?
Yes.
And did you ever go to the police with that information?
I didn't feel like I had to.
Why not?
Because it just looked like a threesome to me. I mean...
Well, while you were in Chicago with Mr. Freeman, do you recall having a phone call with June Brown?
The second time? You mean 2008?
Correct. When you and Mr. Freeman came up before the trial.
I don't recall.
During the trip to Chicago with Mr. Freeman, did the two of you discuss having a press conference?
Go ahead and jump in. Flawless, Miss Leon.
We're not there yet. You're on
number 8. Okay.
Atmos, what you doing?
I know. I'm trying to do like two things at one time, trying to keep it. Okay. All right.
Bro, you good.
I didn't know. No.
Was there a press conference, or did Mr. Freeman plan on having a press conference?
Objection, Your Honor. He already answered. He doesn't know about press conferences.
Well, if he knows, he can answer.
Did Mr. Freeman plan to hold a press conference in Chicago?
Man, I don't recall.
Did you participate in any press conference in Chicago while you were here in 2008?
No.
One moment, Your Honor.
Is that it?
Nothing further.
Cross-exam? Damn. Mr.
Right.
Brindley. Shit. Lesmond, can you do Mr. Brindley?
Sure. Yes, Your Honor.
she can do that.
Cross-examination on behalf of defendant McDavid by Mr. Brindley.
Good afternoon, Mr. Murrell. My name is Bo Brindley. I represent Daryl McDavid.
How you doing?
Now, Mr. Murrell, it's correct to say that you are friends with Chuck Freeman, correct?
Correct.
And you describe Chuck Freeman as a street guy, right?
Yes.
Okay. Would it be fair to describe Chuck Freeman as a bit of a hustler of sorts? You wouldn't disagree with that, would you?
I mean, if you say that.
It could apply to him, right?
I mean, it could.
All right. And you were asked some questions a minute ago about a press conference that you didn't have anything to do with, but you understood from being there with Chuck that Chuck was trying to get money out of Mr. Kelly and using the press conference as leverage, right?
I don't know about that.
Oh, you don't know about that at all. Okay, fine. But obviously you do know Lisa Van Allen, right?
Yes.
And you said that you met Lisa Van Allen, and then shortly after you met her, you engaged in a sexual relationship with her, right?
Yes.
And you did have to keep that relationship. You knew you had to keep it a secret from Mr. Kelly, right?
Yeah, yes.
And so Miss Van Allen She also sent you money on certain occasions to hold for her, right?
Yes.
And you understood that money was money that she had taken from Robert Kelly?
Yes.
Okay. She also sent you Mr. Kelly's diamond cross necklace, right?
That's correct.
And you understood that she didn't have permission to take that from him, right?
Yes.
So you understood that she had stolen Mr. Kelly's necklace and sent it to you so she could get rid of it. Fair to say?
Yes.
All right. And it was Lisa Van Allen who asked you essentially, or told you she wanted you to get some money for the necklace, right?
Yes.
All right. So that was her idea and her direction to take this necklace that she stole from Robert Kelly and try to convert it into cash, right?
Yes.
By going to a pawn shop, right?
Yes.
Now, you didn't think it was a very good idea to go to a pawn shop because you knew that thing was a lot more valuable than any pawn shop was going to provide, right?
That's correct.
But you attempted to do what Lisa asked you, and the necklace got taken by the police, right?
Yes.
Okay, now, in terms of this video, while you were living in Kansas City, Lisa Van Allen told you she had a sexually explicit tape of her and Robert Kelly and another woman, right?
Yes.
Okay, and you told her you wanted to see it, right?
Yes.
And when you told her you wanted to see it, she sent it to you, right?
Yes.
And it wasn't it wasn't crazy for you to ask that. She was someone you had had a sexual relationship already, right?
Yes.
So when she said she had a sexually explicit videotape of her and a superstar, and you said you wanted to see it, that made sense in the context of your relationship, right?
Yes.
And so she sent you the tape, right?
Yes.
And she didn't tell you that there was anything improper about the tape, right?
That's correct.
She didn't suggest to you there was anything illegal on the tape, did she?
Correct.
Okay. And you watched the tape and you said it looked like just a regular threesome to you, right?
Yes.
Okay. And so she didn't suggest to you that she did not want you to watch it, did she?
Say that again.
She did not suggest to you that she didn't want you to watch it, right?
No.
You made clear you were going to watch it, right?
Correct.
She sent it to you because you asked to see it, right?
Y'all hold real quick. What's up, Dale? I'm sorry, y'all. That was somebody butt dialed me. Let me turn this off. Okay. Here we go. I'm back. I'm at 15. Yes.
Okay. And you showed it to Chuck Freeman, right?
Uh-huh. Yes.
You showed it to Ernest Dixon, right?
Yes.
You showed it to Marlon Hatcher, right?
Yes.
You showed it to Nicole Anderson, right?
Yes.
When you showed it to Mr. Friedman, he didn't suggest to you he saw anything wrong with it either, did he?
No.
Now, the tape that Lisa Van Allen sent you, the threesome tape that you saw, the one that she sent you, that one only had one scene on it, right?
Yes.
The only scene was Lisa and Rob and the third woman, right?
Yes.
And it looked like a regular threesome, basically, right?
Yeah.
Objection, asked and answered, and accusation.
Overruled.
It looked like a regular threesome to you, right?
Yes.
Like any kind of porno you may see, only the difference was it had a superstar in it, right?
Yes.
Now, eventually, Lisa Van Allen told you that Robert Kelly would pay $200,000 or so to get the tape back. Is that right?
That right.
Okay. So when the idea of giving this tape back to Mr. Kelly came up, it came up because Lisa Van Allen told you that it was going to be about money, right?
Say that question again.
Lisa Van Allen made it clear to you as soon as the idea of returning the tape came up. She made clear to you it would be for money, right?
Yeah. She said yes.
She's the one that raised the idea of getting money for it, right?
She called me and said that they wanted the tape back, and she said she would offer 200 and some $1,000, right? At $250,000 or something like that for the tape.
All right. And then you eventually you said you spoke to Mr. McDavid, right?
Yes.
About coming to Chicago to return the tape, right?
Yes.
And when you spoke to Mr. McDavid, at that point it was clear to you that money would be paid for the return of Rob's sex tape, right?
Yes.
Okay. And you know at this point in time that Rob was under investigation or had been charged with a crime involving sex tapes, right?
Yes.
Okay. And so when you found out Rob would pay a lot of money to make sure that somebody didn't have a threesome tape of him while he was on trial for a sex tape, that made sense to you, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now the video that you had before you went to Chicago, you made a copy of it, right?
Yes.
So you took the videotape that you had and copied it onto a second videotape, but shorter, right?
Yes.
Okay. So the only copy that existed was, let me put it this way, there was the original tape.
Uh-huh.
And then that was one videotape cassette, right?
Cassette?
And then there was a second video cassette tape that was the copy, right?
Right. It was like a CD. I put it on the CD.
So it was a CD that you had that was the second copy?
Yes.
All right. So the copy that you took to Chicago was not a video cassette tape. It was a CD, right?
Which time?
The first time.
Yes.
Okay. So when you went to Chicago, what were you giving them was a CD, right?
Yes.
And that CD contained the first 8 minutes or so, right?
Probably so, yes.
Okay. And you said you went there, and at the location that you went to, you were met at, you said it was a hotel, right?
Yes.
And you were met by Daryl McDavid, right?
Yes.
And there was a polygraph examiner there, right?
Yes.
And then there was someone else that you said searched you or something to that effect, right?
Yes.
Okay. And so you came into the room, polygraph examiner is there, Daryl was there, and you provided the CD to Daryl, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then you said, Mr. Murrell, you said then that Daryl and Lisa went into another room, right?
Yes.
Leaving you there with the polygraph examiner, right?
Yes.
And then you didn't see what actually happened in the other room, right?
No.
So you don't know if she talked to him in the other room.
They went to look at the tape.
So
Oh, no.
you think they went to look at the tape?
I mean, they said they did.
Okay.
That's what Daryl said.
Okay, that's what Daryl said. And then they came back, and after they came back, it was clear at that point that the CD you had given him wasn't the whole tape, and they knew that, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then you took the polygraph test and you told him you didn't have any copies and you failed, right?
Correct.
So he knew you had copies.
Right.
And so what this was a situation in which you, let me see how to phrase it. I apologize. So this was, you had a situation where you had told them you were bringing them an original tape to get paid money, right?
Yes.
And what you brought him was not an original, right?
Correct.
You got caught lying about it, right?
Uh, did I? Yeah.
Okay. But even when you got caught lying about it, Mr. McDavid wasn't, I mean, he didn't threaten you or do anything crazy, did he?
No.
In fact, what he did was he gave you $20,000 to show good faith, and then he said, go and get the real video and bring it back, and I'll give you the rest of the money, right?
Yes.
Okay. So he didn't say anything threatening. He didn't say anything at all that was a problem in your mind.
Well, I mean, he said if I didn't come back, this guy, right here, will come and see me.
Oh, the other guy that was in the room.
Yeah, that tall guy.
Okay. And you weren't worried about that because you believed that you were going to keep your part of the bargain, just like he said he was going to, right?
Correct.
All right. And Lisa Van Allen, when she was there too, it was obvious you understood she was expecting to get paid that day too, right?
Yes, I believe so.
Now, you said today that this meeting took place in a hotel room, right?
Yes.
And that's where the tape was turned over?
Yes.
Okay. Can I get the discount? Can I get the document camera, please? Mr. Murrell, before you gave testimony in this case, you went to a grand jury, right?
Yes.
And when you went to the grand jury, you had prepared a grand jury statement, correct?
Correct.
That was sworn under oath as being truthful and accurate, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And you signed, well, let me show you something here. You recognize this document as the grand jury statement of Keith Murrell, correct?
Correct.
Let me move my arm out of the way. You've seen that before, right?
Yes.
Okay. And this document, the grand jury statement of Keith Murrell, at the end of it is your signature, right?
Yes.
At the end of it is a date, right?
Yes.
Okay. And you signed and swore that it was all true after reviewing it, correct?
Correct.
Okay, now I want to show you a portion of this document. I'm going to direct you to page 4 of your sworn grand jury statement and this paragraph that begins, when I flew.
Okay.
What you said in your sworn grand jury statement and what you swore was true is, when I flew to Chicago, I brought with me an 8 or 9 minute snippet of the video and I left with the original tape. I left the original tape at home in Kansas City. When I arrived in Chicago, I was told to go to an office building. When I got there, inside the office was Daryl, June, Lisa, a polygrapher, and a big guy I assumed was security. And it says the big guy patted me down and did a physical search. I had a snippet of the tape with me and I gave it to Daryl and June. That's what you said in the grand jury, correct?
Correct.
You were also interviewed by agents in this case before you went to the grand jury, correct?
Correct.
And when you were interviewed by the agents before you went to the grand jury, you provided them information about this meeting that you went to when you took the polygraph and turned over the tape, correct?
Yes.
And when we're saying tape, what you turned over was actually a CD, right?
Yes.
Okay. And what you told them, let me ask you, Around July 2nd, 2019, not 2009, July 2nd, 2019. That sounds like about the right date when you met with them, agreed?
Yes.
And when you met with them, one of the things that you told them was as follows. When you arrived in Chicago, you went to an office building and Van Allen was there, and you were expecting to be paid $250,000 for returning the tape. Inside the office, you said that McDavid, Brown, a polygraph examiner, and a big guy were there. And you said that you turned the tape over to either McDavid or Brown. You said that when you talked to the agents, right?
Yes.
Okay. So at that meeting with Lisa Van Allen, when the CD was turned over to when the CD was provided for viewing or for review, as you said, at that meeting when you do recall at that meeting, or you did recall when you spoke to the agents, an incident where during that very first meeting, Lisa Van Allen was crying about something. Do you remember that?
The very first meeting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And what it was that Lisa Van Allen was crying about at the first meeting was the fact that you didn't bring the original, right?
Yes.
And so, in essence, what she was crying about was the fact that you weren't going to get paid, right?
Yes.
Okay. She did not suggest to you on that day that she was crying in any way because Daryl McDavid threatened her, did she?
No.
And you were a friend of Lisa Van Allen's for years, right?
Yes.
And during all of those years prior to some Facebook messages, and I think you know what I'm going to refer to, we're going to get to those later. But prior to those Facebook messages, she never once suggested that Daryl McDavid had ever threatened her at all, had she?
No.
And she had never once suggested never once suggested at all that Daryl McDavid forced her to sign some attorney statement either, did she?
No.
Okay. Now, Mr. Murrell, she did contact you with some Facebook messages, right?
Yes.
And when you got those Facebook messages, I presume they seemed pretty strange to you, like they're coming out of nowhere, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now I'm going to refer to those. They were admitted into evidence. I believe they were admitted as Kelly 117. I'm going to show you some of these messages and talk with you about them a little bit. And so, on Kelly's Exhibit 117, this is that's Lisa Van Allen. That's her Facebook, right?
Yes.
Her Facebook messaging.
Uh-huh.
And she reached out to you and says, hey, right.
Yes.
You say, what's up, right?
Yes.
Then out of nowhere, she says, did I ever speak to you about why I was crying when we met Daryl with the tape when you asked, was I okay? You see that?
Yes.
And you said no, right?
Correct.
And what you actually, if we could publish to the jury, I'm sorry, I should have said that. And the date on this is October 24th, 2018. Can you read that?
Yes.
Okay. And so she says, did I ever speak to you about why I was crying when I met Daryl with the tape when you asked, was I okay? And you said no, right?
Yes. All right. Thank you, Lesmond One. Great job. I'm gonna give you a little break. Riri, can you jump in for Mr. Brindley? I know you can't really do no man voice, but just read it for me, please. Yes.
All right. Hold on one second. Let me
Okay.
make my bigger. And in the years that she talked to you about
Number
this,
four. Number four.
Okay. And so this was out of nowhere that she brings up these questions to you, right?
Yes.
And in all the years that she talked to you about this tape and everything else, where there had never been a hint that she had ever been threatened by Daryl or someone else, right?
Correct.
Okay. And so she sends you this Facebook message talking about crying. And in fact, when she sent you this, you remembered on your own, aside from what she was telling you, trying to say here, did you remember on your own that the reason that she was crying was because she didn't get her money that day, right?
Yes.
Okay. And so when you denied her ever saying so when you denied her ever saying anything about that, she then said, I didn't tell you about Daryl threatening to my life. And she goes on, this murk you from the beginning thing. I didn't tell you that. And you said, wow, that's crazy, right?
Correct.
And the reason you said, wow, that's crazy is because you hadn't never heard anything about that. Whatever, right?
Correct.
Okay. And when she said she's sending you these Facebook messages, asking you this question out of the blue about whether she ever told you Daryl threatened her life and about crying, that actually happened. It was October of 2018. That was before you spoke to the federal agent in the conversation that you and I just talked about, right? I'll refresh your memory. Maybe that will help. Remember, I said July 2nd, 2019, you met with them and you said, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I mean, I got to see it. I don't.
Okay, let me show you. Let me show you. I'll show you what I've marked as McDavid Defense Exhibit 26, just to give you an idea.
Okay.
So you know what we're talking about. You can see at the top of July 2nd, 2019, some agents interviewed Keith Murrell.
Yes.
Okay, so this Facebook message about Lisa saying, "Did I tell you that I was crying because Daryl threatened me?"
Uh-huh.
Those happened on the 24th of October, 2018, right?
Correct.
And so when you had this conversation with Lisa, crying with the agent in July of 2019, you were talking to you. They were talking to you about these messages, right?
Yes.
And so when they asked you, what was Lisa crying about? You didn't tell them the same story about Daryl, threatening her. You told them the truth, right?
Yes.
You told them the truth that she was crying because she wasn't going to get her money for the tape, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then she goes on in this Facebook message after you tell her this whole story sounds crazy because you knew it wasn't the truth, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then wait a minute. Okay. And she says to you, I'm asking because the production company wanted to speak with somebody who would know that he threatened my life. I told other people. I just thought that I told you as well. You understood her to be talking about the show, Surviving R. Kelly, that she was on, right?
Yes.
And you understood from the messaging here that she wanted you to talk to these people and say that you knew about some threats so that they could let her put it on TV. This statement about Mr. McDavid, right?
Right.
Okay. But you told her that you couldn't do that because Mr. Murrell, you knew very well that she never said anything about such a threat, right?
No, not to me.
Right. And she says that she told other people, but as of October 24th, the person that she was asking you is a person that she never told anything about, right?
Never told me that. No.
No. And in fact, the crying incident that she tries to draw your attention to, you knew on your own had to do with something totally unrelated to a threat, right?
Yes.
Okay. And you talked about also at some point that you saw some video that Chuck had of Rob and some other female, right?
Yes.
Okay. And in fact, Mr. Murrell, that video that Chuck had that you saw that he showed you, you had actually seen that on the internet somewhere else too, right?
No.
Okay. Are you sure about that?
Yes.
Oh, that's me. Objection, asked and answered. That's
I'm
fine.
sorry. I'm sorry. Okay. Go ahead and stick with Miss Pozzolo, Riri.
Okay.
If you could come back in, Lesbian one as Mr. Brindley, please. Lesbian,
Is it
you
me,
there?
Miss? Oh, yeah, Mr. Brindley.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes, please.
that's fine. I want to ask you again about the statement you made to the agents on July 2nd of 2019. Just a minute, Mr. Morrell, I'll find it. Well, let me put it to you this way. Aside from the internet thing, the two scenes that were on the video that Mr. Freeman showed you, those two scenes, you never saw them on any tape that you had, did you?
Correct.
The tape that you had, which you said looked like a regular threesome between Robert, Lisa, and another woman. It didn't have anybody talking about the age of any body parts that sounded inappropriate, did it?
Correct.
Okay. During these conversations with Lisa in the Facebook messaging, she asked you for Chuck's number, right?
Yes.
And it sounded like she was trying to see if Chuck had a copy of some other video. It sounds like what she wanted was that what you could tell, right?
Right.
She wanted to speak with Chuck about something related to a video, right?
I mean, I know she wanted to speak with him.
Okay, just one second, Mr. Murrell. When you asked if you could talk to these people from Surviving R. Kelly about some incident that you actually had no information about, you told her, no, I'm not willing to do that, right?
Yes.
You also said to her the following: call Chuck. He will love to get in to get on there with you. Laugh out loud, right?
Yes.
And what you meant by that was to give Chuck a call because he would love to get involved in some sort of sensational story on TV. That's what you suggested, right?
Yes.
And because it seemed to you that that's exactly what Lisa was doing as well, right?
Ask that question again.
It seemed to you that's what Lisa was doing when trying to talk to you about verifying something you didn't know anything about.
I mean, I knew I didn't want to do it.
Right. But you thought Chuck and Lisa, they both seemed like they might want to, right?
I guess, yes.
Okay. Now, coming back once again to the interview that you did on July 2nd, 2019, you said you were talking a minute ago about Chuck showing you videos of Mr. Kelly on a checkered floor in a bedroom, in a living room, and a bedroom. You remember that, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Well, when you talked to the agents on July the 2nd of 2019 regarding Chuck's video, I'll put this here to refresh your memory. You said that you viewed video recordings that were in Chuck's possession and that Chuck was in possession of videos which showed Kelly engaged in sexual activity with an unknown female on a checkered floor and a bedroom. And you said you had also viewed those videos on the internet. Did you see that? Where you said that to the agents?
Yes.
Okay. You didn't exactly know the video that Chuck showed you. You don't know where he got that, do you?
Man, I don't know. I don't know where he got it personally. No.
Now, Mr. Murrell, earlier today, as you were giving your testimony, there were a couple of times where you gave statements, and I said, remember, it was either Daryl or June that did certain things, correct?
Correct.
Remember, you said that Daryl or June, and then somebody said objection. Remember that happening?
Yes.
I want to talk to you about that for a minute. Now, you gave your grand jury statement back on the 5th of September of 2000, and it was September the 5th, 2019, correct? Does that sound right to you, Mr.?
I would have to see it.
You have to take a look. All right, hold on.
Yeah.
Let me figure out what I did with it. Okay, so your grand jury statement here in this case, this is it. Once again, McDavid, Exhibit 25. You remember looking at it a few minutes ago, right?
Correct. Riri.
I'm so sorry. Your Honor, if I may, I believe the objection was sustained when he was asked about Daryl or June. So I'm not sure when Mr. Brindley is going with where Mr. Brindley is going with this. He was not permitted to answer those questions.
No, he answers certain questions that will make it relevant, Judge. I know I'm not going to do anything improper.
I don't know what the objection is.
I don't either. Let's proceed.
When you get a question, when you get a question on, then
Okay,
objection, I'll rule.
all right. The question was, you recognize your grand jury statement, Mr. Murrell, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And on the last page, you see your signature and you remember it was on September the 5th of 2019, right?
Correct.
All right. Some almost 3 years ago now, right?
Correct.
Okay. And you testified earlier today that when you were called on the phone about the tape, it was Daryl that called you, correct?
Yes.
All right. Now, when you gave your grand jury statement on the 5th of September, 2019, of course, you obviously were talking about these same subjects, right?
Correct.
But when you gave your grand jury statement on September the 5th, what you indicated then about this tape was, I was contacted by either Daryl McDavid or June Brown, but I can't remember which one. That's what you said to the grand jury, right?
Yes. That's because I was contacted 2 different times. So I was, I just say either one of them.
Okay. So what you said was, at that time, I was contacted by either Daryl or June, but I can't remember which one, correct?
Correct.
And then you said to the grand jury, whether it was on the phone, either Daryl or June told me he knew I had a copy of the sex tape, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then you testified today that the person who actually made these calls to you is Daryl, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, they both called me, right? That's what I'm saying. Like they both called me like 2 different times.
Okay. So then, it's fair to say that you met with the U.S. attorneys associated with this case yesterday, right?
Yesterday?
Yes. So you talked to them yesterday?
Yeah.
Okay. And when you talked to them, they talked to you about your grand jury statement and those incidents where you said Daryl or June, right?
Correct.
Okay. And so, with respect to these two incidents where it was the tape where previously you said Daryl or June about these phone calls, today you testified Daryl, right?
Correct.
And before yesterday, you had never changed the content of this grand jury statement, correct?
I always meant it to be that way. That
Okay.
I mean, just how I said it.
Okay. You always meant it that way, but when did they tell you that they had to choose one, that you had to choose one or the other, rather?
No.
Okay. But when you gave your testimony today, what you said was Daryl called, right?
Yes.
Okay. And when you gave your grand jury testimony on the 5th of September 2019, talking about what you did with the tape, you said, I gave it to Daryl in June, right?
Yes.
And today you testified that it was just Daryl that you gave it to, correct?
I mean, that was the meaning that, June picked me up and then I gave it to Daryl once I got there. So, that's why I said Daryl and June.
So, in the grand jury statement, then I'm correct, you said Daryl in June. And then, after meeting yesterday with the U.S. attorneys, today you testified it was Daryl that you gave the tape to. That's correct, isn't it?
Yes. That's what I said. How I meant it though.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah.
Can I have a moment, Judge?
Okay.
I have no further questions for Mr. Murrell.
Thank you. Thank you. Is that you to say thank you for the testimony?
Thank you for your testimony, sir.
Thank you. Next, anybody want to ask any questions?
I have a couple questions. I wasn't sure if Miss Judge wanted to go.
All right, couple of questions. Miss Bonjean, you may question them.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Cross-examination on behalf of defendant Kelly by Miss Bonjean.
Good afternoon, Mr. Murrell.
How you doing?
Good. My name is Jennifer Bonjean. I represent Mr. Kelly. We have just a couple questions for you, okay?
Of course.
Who was the first person who introduced the idea to you of being paid for the tape that Lisa Van Allen sent to you?
Lisa.
Did you tell Lisa you were shopping the tape around in the media?
I mean, I played with her a lot before, so I did tell her, yes.
Okay, and
see, I didn't tell the media. I said, just joking around, like be like, I can get this sold or something like that, just because she used to, get mad when I play like that. So yeah, I did say that.
Okay. So she introduced the idea to you. You never called Mr. Kelly and said, you have to pay me X amount of money and I'll return this, right?
Correct.
Now, the money that Lisa had sent you over the years that she was asking you to hold, that you understood to be Mr. Kelly's money, did she at times come retrieve that money?
Yes.
Did she tell you that Mr. Kelly's jewelry that she sent to you was worth $100,000?
I don't think she knew. I don't remember. So I'm gonna say I don't recall.
Do you remember telling the agents on July 2nd of 2019 that she had sent you a piece of Kelly's jewelry, which she told you was valued $100,000?
I could have said that, but I don't recall though.
Okay. You're not suggesting you didn't say that.
Correct.
All right. It sounds like you and Lisa had a falling out after the money. Well, strike that. First of all, when you went to pawn this necklace, that was at her direction, right?
Correct.
And it sounds like you had a falling out after that because she didn't believe you that the necklace had been confiscated by the police, right?
I mean, I wouldn't say, that we had a falling out. I mean, she just dropped, stopped believing me as much as she used to.
I see.
Yeah.
Did she think you pocketed it?
I don't know. I mean, she say she didn't, but I know we wasn't the same.
Okay. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything further? Let's do Shay. Is Shay still here? No, she gone. Flawless, can you read Miss Leon?
Sure.
Okay. Anything further?
Yes, Judge.
And who is Miss Judge? Who is Miss Judge?
Yes, Judge.
Okay. Cross-examination on behalf of Defendant Brown by Miss Leon.
Hi, Mr. Murrell.
Okay, Shay just popped back in. Okay. How you doing?
I requested Milton Brown, okay?
Okay.
Just a few follow-up questions for you. During any of your meetings, let me start like this. During your first meeting in that office building, you and Lisa didn't go together, correct?
Correct.
Okay. In fact, you started that Lisa was already there when you got there.
Yes, I believe.
Okay. And in your grand jury testimony, you started that you were told to go to the office building, right?
Yes.
So you were not told that Nelson Brown was going to pick you up. You were told you were going to go to the office building.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. The truth is he did not pick you up, correct?
I don't
I'm
recall.
sorry. Do you hear that crackle? It's really
Yeah.
crackling.
Yeah.
Is that me?
Let me see it. Let me see. No, it's not you. Hold on. I think that was Flawless phone. All right, go ahead, Flawless. I think it's your phone, Flawless. It's your
I can
phone.
go out and come back in.
All right. In the meantime, I'm gonna have Shay. I didn't have Shay read yet, and I'm gonna have Shay read a little bit. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, Shay, can you jump in really quick for me, please?
Sure.
And go ahead and mute your phone for me, please, Shay. Nisi, because it's crackling. Okay,
Okay. You want me to start at 14?
please.
Okay. The truth is, he did not pick you up, correct?
I don't recall who picked me up the first time, but the second time, yes, he did.
The first time, he did not pick you up, correct?
I mean, I don't recall. I mean, who picked me up the first time, but the second time, yes, he did. I mean, look, I don't recall.
Well, here's the thing. He drove Lisa there, correct?
I don't know.
And you just stated a second ago that he was already there.
Who?
When
June?
you got there.
Who?
Yes.
June? Okay.
You said that in your grand jury testimony, right?
I believe I have to see it, but I have to see that. Okay.
Oh, okay. So I'm just going to walk up to the show and show it to you, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
That's fine.
That third sentence. When I got there, read it to yourself.
Yes.
So it's correct. You stated that he was already there.
Yes.
So he could not have picked you up the first time, right?
I mean, probably not.
Okay. But because you placed, so you placed Brown with Lisa in that office building?
Say that again.
According to your grand jury testimony,
Uh-huh.
You're placing Daryl, June, Lisa, a polygraph examiner, and some security guy in the office already when you get there.
Correct.
Okay. So I want to talk about that now, okay?
Okay.
That isn't actually true, is it?
What's not true?
Milton Brown was not in that office building when you got there.
He was there that day, yeah.
He was there that day. The truth is, he drove Lisa there. Lisa went into that building on her own, and he waited outside for her.
Look, I know when I got there, he was there. I don't have a reason to make that up.
Okay. So when Lisa was crying about the fact that she didn't get money, she's lying when she says she ran out to June, who was waiting for her in the car. That's what you're saying?
Say that again.
I'm going to object to hearsay, Your Honor.
Well, I guess that he certainly, well, not suggesting, it's for the truth.
I'm not, Your Honor.
Foundation.
Fine. So, overruled.
You can answer.
What was the question again?
When Lisa says that she ran out of the office building crying and she told June what happened, she's lying. That's what you're saying?
So, I didn't say she was lying.
So how can June be outside in the car waiting for her when she runs out and be in the building at the same time?
Man, this was the first time.
Objection.
I heard.
Foundation. What meeting are we even talking about? There's been several meetings.
The first meeting, the only meeting I've been talking about.
What date?
You don't know the date of the meeting?
I'm sorry, but what first meeting? There's a multiple meetings with Lisa and multiple meetings with this witness. So I want to make sure that we're talking about the same meeting.
Got that straight?
The first polygraph exam meeting that you had.
Okay. Okay.
Where you said Lisa was crying.
Yeah, Shay, your phone, it started off so doggone perfect. Then it went to the Twilight Zone crackling.
Wow, really? I think StreamYard got it in for us. Okay, then I'll have to go out and come back in.
Okay, I'll let Lesson 1 jump in right there.
Okay.
Thank you.
The first polygraph exam meeting that you had.
Okay.
Where you said Lisa was crying?
Uh-huh.
Because she didn't get the money?
Yes.
Right. We're on the same page.
Correct.
She stated that you ran out crying to Milton Brown.
I didn't see that.
She also...
I didn't see her run out.
She also stated he was never in that building.
If she stated that, that was a lie. I seen him. He was there.
Okay. So let's talk about the second meeting. She's also lying when she said he took her. Is that what you're saying?
I guess. I mean, I seen him there, but so I don't know if he took her and left. I don't know.
Okay. You do know Milton is an assistant, right?
Correct.
And so you've worked with Mr. Kelly before?
Yes.
And you know that Mr. Kelly doesn't book his own flights, right?
Yes.
He has people do them for him, right?
Yes.
Miss
Pauline.
Object. Sorry.
I don't know, for a fact. Yes, I believe it.
I'm going to object to Foundation about what this man knows about Mr. Kelly's personal.
I'll move on, Judge. In your time working under Mr. Kelly, were you booking any of your own flights?
No.
Okay. Assistants book the flights or managers.
Judge, I could object to speculation. I'm not sure.
Do you know who booked your flights?
I mean, I don't know exactly. I mean, I just know that, we would get a call and say this, is there, where we would go. This is.
Okay.
I mean, what we doing? So I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Brief redirect, Your Honor.
Quickly.
Mr. Murrell, on cross-examination, you were asked about a meeting that you had with the government yesterday, correct?
Yes.
And who was present at that meeting?
My lawyers.
And I was there.
Yes.
And was I there?
Yes.
And an agent from his...
Yes.
And when I came to the meeting, did I tell you why I needed to speak with you?
Yes.
Was it regarding a ruling about the court regarding your testimony today?
Correct.
And what did I explain to you?
That I cannot say. Objection, hearsay.
Your Honor, he was crossed about this and insinuated that the government told him what to say.
It was not insinuating anything about the government saying him what to say, telling him what to say. Go ahead, ask him. It's fine. He may answer. Yeah, I mean, that I cannot say, Daryl or June. So don't say anything like that. Like just something different, I guess.
And was that based on a court ruling that it was speculative to say either or, correct?
Correct. Speculation by the witness as to what the basis was.
And when I was explaining the court's ruling prior to your testimony today, who stated that it was Daryl that made the phone call?
Me.
And on cross-examination, you were asked about contacts that you had with Lisa over the years, correct?
Correct.
And in 2007, did you and Lisa stop speaking?
Yes.
Why?
I'm not sure what the objection relevance.
Agreed. Objection relevance.
Your Honor, on cross, he was asked a number of questions about whether Lisa told him this or that.
He may answer, why'd you stop talking to her?
Why'd you stop talking to Lisa in 2007?
Well, why did I stop talking to her?
Correct. Why did you two of you stop talking?
I mean, I just think over time, things just like fade away. And plus, I just think over time stuff like that just happened. You know what I'm saying? Like, she live in a different state. I live in a different state, so, when you ain't, speaking with somebody, just ain't nothing there.
So after 2007, Lisa wouldn't necessarily be reaching out to you with everything that was going on in her life after that point, correct?
Correct.
And on cross-examination, you were asked questions about the threesome tape that you received from Lisa, correct?
Yes.
And you were asked about whether the third person was referred to as a woman during cross-examination, correct?
Say that again.
Was the third person in the video referred to as a woman during cross-examination?
Judge, objection. That wasn't the question.
That was never asked.
That was what Mr. Brindley said, but that was never a question. Objection.
Mr. Brindley opened the door to me asking him questions.
Oh, wait.
By referring to her name as a woman.
I never. Was the third person a woman? Judge, the question that was asked was, it was Mr. Kelly, a woman, and Lisa Van Allen. It was a very general question. Nobody said, there was a woman. I mean,
Judge, moreover, the witness has already answered the question about.
He answered the question.
Excuse me, I'm making an objection still. The witness has already answered the question on direct examination that he didn't know. That was his answer.
I'll sustain the objection. We're getting, thank you, a little afield. Go ahead.
I have nothing further, Your Honor.
All right. We're going to suspend until Monday, 10 a.m. It's very important, again, that the jury not read the new news accounts, listen to any accounts, or watch on TV or radio, and stay off the internet discussions about this particular case. Have a nice weekend, and we'll see you 10 o'clock a.m. on Monday. Adjournment taken 4:50 p.m. until 10 a.m. the following Monday, August 29th. I certify that the foregoing is the correct transcript from the record of proceedings in the above entitled manner on August the 27th. So, y'all, this is where they go into the weekend. If y'all want to, we can go ahead and you want to go ahead and continue? Do some more?
Yeah.
Y'all good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, great. Let's go ahead and
Yes,
move
sir.
it. Let's go
Fine
ahead and
by
move
me.
it. Okay, awesome. Thank you. Y'all are doing an amazing job, too. Thank you so much. And thank you, Flawless, for jumping on here and helping me. I do appreciate that. All right, let me go ahead and pull up the 29th. Y'all give me one quick minute. So what y'all think about Murrell? Like, what was y'all feeling about? I feel like he was trying to take up for Lisa, but
I do too.
they was running him against the wall. Like he
Yeah.
had no choice but to throw her under the bus.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the judge
It was
took me out when he
for
asked
her.
the question.
Say that again.
The judge took me out when he said, "So why you stop talking to him?"
Yeah.
Like, dude,
That was funny.
He took me
The
out
judge
too.
was
Like,
all
yeah,
into it too.
he was all into it. Yeah, he wanted to know his nosy butt. He should have said, "Man, sit your old ass down. You don't need to know nothing."
Okay, hey, answer all these questions.
I think when the government was asking him questions, he was giving his truth. But then as
Yeah.
the defense started asking him questions, he started realizing that, oh, wait a minute.
Oh, wait a
Lisa didn't
minute.
say the same thing that we're not saying the same thing.
Saying
Right.
the same thing.
I think, yeah, he wasn't realizing it.
Right. Y'all make a lot of sense. Y'all make a lot of sense. Okay,
Yeah.
y'all, we back. Let's go ahead and get back into it. So this here is the 29th, August 29th at 10 o'clock a.m. We are going to go ahead and get started.
Admins, when we're done with the show, can you send me this one? I don't have this one.
You don't have this one? Who am I speaking? Who is this?
Riri.
Oh, you don't got this one? Okay. Hold on. I can send it to you. You want me to send it after this?
You can send it now, because then that way I'll follow on my tablet.
Sure.
On my iPad.
I can do that right now.
Thank you.
Everybody else got it already? So this was the 29th.
Oh no, I never had. I'll do it on the screen.
Okay.
Yeah, it's easier for me to do on the screen too,
It
although
is?
I do have it. Yeah.
Okay, no problem. All right, Riri, it is coming to you. Right. You are on my mail list. I'm surprised you didn't get it.
I am too.
That's crazy.
I normally get everything.
Yeah, you do. Okay, let me put this in here. Okay, go ahead and check your email right now, please.
There. Oh, wait.
Is that it?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, perfect. So we start right at the top. All right. So let's see who's coming up. So good morning, everybody. Good morning, Judge. One of the jurors is I guess close, but it'll be a couple of minutes before we get the jury up here. One matter, I've been advised by the marshals that the jurors would love to have Friday off, and I haven't promised them anything. I haven't considered that. I'm hoping to have a clear view of when the government will rest. Does the government have a view if the government rests on Thursday, it would seem to me that it would probably be okay to give them Friday off.
Your Honor, I think that, there's a chance that we could rest tomorrow or Wednesday morning.
Oh, so you're moving quicker then? Oh, well then. Well, let's see how it goes together. And if everybody would like to take off, if they would, make a 10% reduction of questions, I can get a longer nap. Yeah. Yes. We like to have the jurors for sure.
That's Miss Judge.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
We'd like to have the jurors for sure.
We might be able to do it. Yes, my chair has disappeared. My chair has been taken, Judge. The government is trying to get rid of.
Wow.
Oh my God. Hold on. Let me read this. Okay. Wow. Let me read this again. Okay. Yes, my chair has disappeared. My chair has been taken. Judge, the government is trying to get rid of me by way of chairs.
Can we get one put on that? And I'm sorry. Stupid. I don't know why that had me crying. Literally.
Oh my gosh.
Can we put one other thing on the record before we start, Your Honor? And that is just to acknowledge that the sketch artist, again, that the first witness this morning, Pauline, is not to have her face sketched. I believe that there is a new artist in here in the courtrooms that may not have heard your prior ruling. So we are going to ask that Pauline and Tracy, who are both scheduled to testify today, not be sketched.
Okay, consider yourselves admonished not to clearly sketch the face of the witnesses. Your Honor, there is one more thing as well. Counsel for Mr. Brown was hoping that the court could rule on Brown's second consolidated motion of limine. I believe the court said that it was prepared to rule Thursday morning, and the government asked for some more time to file a written response. It's been a few days.
And the minors that are related to that are going to be testifying, so we kind of need to know.
Well, it's my understanding. K-Love 92, what up?
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. I was looking for this transcript in my email. I don't have it. I wanted to do Pauline so bad.
Well, you need to check your email, K-Love.
Hi, everybody.
Hey.
Check your email, K-Love 92.
All right, I'm pulling it up right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been waiting for this testimony.
You guys can go ahead while I'm looking. It's going to take me a second.
Do you see it, Kayla?
I'm trying to log in on my iPad so I can.
Oh, and don't tell me you got that SpongeBob dial-up service over there now.
Who, me?
Oh yeah.
I'm crackling.
No, you sound good.
No,
I'm teasing.
Okay.
That's Atmos' service that does that to everybody.
Right, he the only common denominator in all of this.
Hold up, y'all gonna leave my hold up, y'all gonna leave my what do you call them, Teletubby service alone, man. Leave it alone. All right, so we're gonna keep going. K-Love 92, you should have it.
Okay, I'm logging in right now. There it is. Okay.
You got it?
Yep.
Yay!
All right, we got another reader, y'all.
We got another reader, so she's gonna read Pauline. Awesome. Okay. All right, so y'all can stay. So Tanya, you can stay, Miss Bonjean. Riri, you and I'll switch y'all out. Shay, I'll switch y'all in and out. All right, let me continue. So go ahead and start with Miss Judge. Lesman, please. 17.
And the minors that are relevant that are going to be testifying, so we kind of need to know.
Well, it's my understanding that the consistent ruling would be that they refer to the person who pays their bills as an employee rather or than either Mr. Brown or I guess Mr. Brown. And is the government willing to live with that? They're not a yes. So I guess the motion in limine is granted. Miss Pozzolo, let me see. Shay, can you be Miss Pozzolo? Shay? Riri, can you jump in and be Miss Pozzolo?
Yes, Your Honor. We have instructed the witnesses about that ruling.
Yes, very good. Anybody else have any complaints or praise or anything?
Your Honor, yes, please. We have asked the government. They have a number of people on their will call list that I don't know. We've continually asked them to update that if they do not intend to call people on their will call list, because there's a couple of people
Well, that would be very nice if we could do that.
they have done that. I just want to see if it's changed, because if they're resting potentially tomorrow, I'm a little confused. So I just want to make sure that we know that we can get a full list of anyone who they intend to call, because that would be helpful in terms of getting somebody else in. Particularly, there is one witness in particular that we would like to make sure that is available, that they had on their will call list, but I haven't seen her mentioned recently.
Let me see. Lesbian, yeah. Lesbian, can you be Miss Apatine, please?
Yes, Your Honor. We sent that last night. That is the remaining proposed witnesses.
Okay, so they're not going to call Kathy Carroll now?
That's correct.
Okay, so that's just information I got yesterday. So I'd ask for the government to please provide us with information so we can get her in ourselves. Because until yesterday, she was on the will call list, and we were not informed until yesterday that they did not intend to call her.
All right. The government will do that. Is that correct?
Yes, she has an attorney, so we will direct counsel to her counsel.
Yes.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Nothing from the government, Your Honor.
Raul, can you check and see if they're here, Judge? I'll have them sent. Jury in. Please be seated. Good morning. Good morning, members of the jury. We're ready for the next witness. Miss, would you please stand and raise your hand? All right, K-Love 92 is going to jump in and play Pauline.
Yes.
Please be seated.
Your Honor, prior to beginning questioning, there's a document just being passed around the jury, and I just want to make sure that everyone has a chance to look at it before I begin.
All right.
It will just take a minute.
Has that been done?
It's happening right now.
Oh.
That's you.
Miss Pozzolo, you may question the witness. Pauline, government's witness sworn, direct examination.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Now, you're testifying under the pseudonym Pauline today, correct?
Yes.
And Pauline is not your real name, correct?
No.
How old are you?
37.
And in what month and year were you born?
October in 1984.
Where did you grow up?
Oak Park, Illinois.
And did you go to middle school in that area?
Yes.
And did you also go to high school in that area?
Yes.
And after high school, did you go to college?
Yes.
And did you graduate from college?
Yes.
And do you have a post-college education as well?
Yes, I do.
And after graduating, what kind of work did you do?
I worked in a couple of fields, but I'm an education teacher.
Now, I'd like to show you, I'd like to just start by showing you what's been admitted into evidence as Government's Exhibit 118. Do you recognize the person in this photograph?
Yes.
And who is that?
Jane.
And when did you first meet Jane?
When I was 13, 14 years old.
And how did you meet Jane?
At school.
What was your relationship with Jane?
We were like sisters, like best friends.
And were you and Jane in the same grade at school?
Yes.
And were you and Jane the same age?
Yes.
When you and Jane became friends in middle school, what were some of the things that you and Jane liked to do together?
Go shopping, listen to music, and hang out.
And after you started hanging out with Jane in middle school, did you meet an individual named Robert Kelly?
Yes.
Who introduced you to Robert Kelly?
Jane.
And approximately how old were you when you first met Mr. Kelly?
14.
And during your time knowing him, what name did you use to refer to Robert Kelly?
Rob.
What did you call him?
Daddy.
And so, just so the record is clear during your testimony here today, will you be using the name Robert or Rob to refer to Robert Kelly?
Yes.
You stated that Jane was the person who introduced you to Robert, correct?
Correct.
Where were you when you first met Robert?
At the studio, at the school.
And if you saw Robert Kelly today, would you recognize him?
Yes.
Your Honor, I would like to ask everyone in the courtroom to remove their mask.
We'll stipulate she can identify him.
All right. It's stipulated she can identify the defendant, R. Kelly.
Now, you stated that you were 14 years old when Jane introduced you to Robert Kelly. Do you know how old Jane was at the time that she introduced you to Robert Kelly?
14.
And after meeting Mr. Kelly, did you begin spending time with him?
Yes.
And when you first started spending time with Mr. Kelly, was Jane usually there with you as well?
Yes.
You're on mute.
Tanya.
Darn it. Sorry. Judge, I would like to get some foundation. After is a very long period of time.
All right.
So if I could get additional foundation about when.
Can you fill in that blank?
Yes. When you were 14 years old, after you met Mr. Kelly, was Jane usually there with you as well?
Yes.
Now, focusing on the time after you met Mr. Kelly and you were 14 years old, where would you and Jane spend time with Mr. Kelly?
At Track Studio, at his home on 1010 West George, at Hoops, on a tour bus, at restaurants.
You mentioned 1010 West George. Over time, did you become familiar with the different rooms at Mr. Kelly's house on George Street?
Yes.
And I would like to direct your attention to when you were 14 or 15 years old. Did you recall the time when you and Jane were at the house at 1010 West George and you could not locate Jane?
Yes.
Did you eventually find Jane in the house?
Yes.
And where did you find her?
In the cabin room.
And I'd like to direct your attention what has been admitted into evidence as Government's Exhibit 112D. Do you recognize Exhibit 112D?
Yes.
What is it?
The cabin room.
You stated that you found Jane in the cabin room. Was she in there alone?
No.
Who was in there with Jane?
Rob.
And what were Jane and Robert Kelly doing in the log cabin room?
She was sitting, like kneeling, but she was naked when I came in the room.
And what was Mr. Kelly doing when you entered the room?
Sitting down in front of her.
And after you saw Jane naked in the cabin room with Mr. Kelly, what did you do?
I ran out.
And after you ran out of the room, did Jane come find you?
Yeah.
And what happened when Jane came and found you?
She talked to me and told me it was okay that I could come back in. So I did. And we were all talking.
And when you returned to the log cabin room with Jane, was Robert Kelly in that room?
Yes.
Did he say anything to you when you returned to the room with Jane?
He told me that he was just looking for bruises on her because she hurt herself. And I was like, oh, okay.
Now, did Mr. Kelly say anything else to you once you returned to the log cabin room?
Yes. He told me that's how I told him that's not how you look for bruises. He said that's how he looked for bruises. And I said, oh, okay. And then he stated we all have secrets. And he was like, the little boy you've been kissing on. I was like, yeah. He was like, your mama don't know about that, do she? I was like, no. He was like, okay. So she don't have to know about this. We all good. I said, yeah, I'm cool. And we was cool.
And so what did you understand Robert Kelly to be communicating to you about what you saw in the log cabin room when Jane was naked?
That what he was doing was fine and it was our secret.
And after you had that conversation, what happened next?
He told Jane to kiss his sister. He told her to kiss her sister and she kissed me and I kissed her.
And what? Wow. And was that the first time that you kissed Jane before?
Like that, yes.
And did Mr. Kelly tell you to do anything else with Jane in the log cabin room that day?
To touch each other's breasts.
And did you do that?
Yes.
Hold on, let me jump real quick. First, K Love 92, girl, you better read.
Okay.
Ooh, I feel like she's you.
Yeah.
Ooh, girl, you killing it.
Yes,
you.
yes. I'm
Your
like,
voice
oh
is
my
perfect for this
God.
part. Now I want to jump in real quick.
We need a trigger
damn
warning
R.
up on this
Kelly,
one.
how did he find out that Pauline was kissing some boy unless he got the information from Jane?
Because that's what he would do. Because remember, he used to always ask them to find friends for him. Then he would try to dig
Right.
information on the friends so that he could have stuff to hold over them,
Wow.
so that they can then
Right.
write it down on a letter to
That's
say
his
that
game.
that's what was going on, so that he could
Yeah.
never get busted.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
And they're trying to say that he's not like smart. Like he has a
He's
low IQ.
manipulative. Absolutely.
He's smart at what he want to be smart at.
Exactly.
That's right.
That's
He's
part of
an
it.
expert in being a predator.
He's an expert at manipulation.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, I'm sorry, y'all. I just had to get that out. We can
And trigger
continue.
warning for sure coming up. For
Oh,
sure.
definitely.
It
Oh,
is.
yeah.
'Cause I'm like, wow.
Let me hit my trigger warning for y'all.
I was thinking at first, Pauline was her little basketball friend that came and testified the last time. So I wasn't expecting for this testimony to
this
go
is
this way.
somebody else.
Me
Right.
too. Yeah.
Somebody completely different.
Exactly.
All right, let's roll, y'all.
Oof. All right. Where were we again?
Line 14.
14. And why did you do that?
Because he told me to.
And did Robert touch you that day in the log cabin room?
Yes.
And where did he touch you?
On my breasts.
And did you see Robert Kelly touching Jane that day in the log cabin room?
Yes.
And where did he touch her?
On her breasts.
And how old were you when you had this first sexual encounter with Robert and Jane?
Like 14.
And I like to show the witness only an exhibit that has not yet been admitted. Okay, I'm directing your attention to what has been marked as Government's Exhibit 107. Do you recognize this exhibit?
Yes.
Okay, and what is it?
Me.
And what grade were you in when this photograph was taken?
Like seventh or eighth grade.
And does this photograph fairly and accurately depict what you look like at that time?
Yes.
Your Honor, I would like to move to admit and publish Government Exhibit 107.
No objection.
It's admitted. You may publish it. Government Exhibit 107 was received in evidence.
And after the day in the log cabin room when you were 14 years old, did you have any further sexual contact with Robert and Jane?
Yes.
Okay, and I'd like to walk through some of that piece by piece, focusing on the time from the incident in the log cabin room when you were 14 and the following months. So when you were 14 years old, did you have additional sexual contact with Robert and Jane?
Yes.
Can you describe the sexual acts that occurred while you were 14 years old with Robert, Kelly, and Jane?
Well, he taught me how to give oral sex on him and Jane, and we would do stuff like that.
And at that time, and at the time that you first started performing oral sex on Robert and Jane, did you know how to give oral sex?
No.
And at that time that you first started performing oral sex on Robert and Jane, had you ever had sexual intercourse before?
No.
Now, you already described the day in the log cabin room where did the other sex acts between you, Robert, and Jane take place?
Bonjean.
One second. I'm sorry. Objection, Foundation.
I guess when I tell them when and where, I guess would be.
So right now we're talking about when you're 14, between 14 and 15. So when you first started engaging in these other sex acts, where did they take place?
At the studio and at his house sometimes.
Eventually, did you have sexual intercourse with Robert Kelly?
Not right away.
And how old were you when you first had sexual intercourse with Robert Kelly?
Like 16, 15, 16.
Objection. I'm going to ask that to the best of the witness's ability to not be guessing. Ages are sort of important. So if there is a way that we can get as good a foundation as possible.
Hey, Tanya, I hear you dealing with the baby. I hear the baby. Do you need a minute? You want me to sub somebody in for you?
She's good.
Okay.
15.
Fine.
I'm sorry, did you say that you were 15 when you first had sexual intercourse with Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Now, after you started having sexual intercourse with Mr. Kelly, was Jane present for the times when that occurred?
Yes.
And between the time that you were 14 and 16 years old, approximately how many times did you have oral sex with Mr. Kelly?
A lot.
And can you give a ballpark range at all?
Over 80 times.
Oh my God.
Can we get, again, is there a time frame here? Are we talking months, years?
Oh my God.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Crazy.
He was just using these poor girls up.
Oh my God.
Just a hole.
Wow.
Any hole.
Oh my God, man.
Wow. I hope the jury just
Sicko don't even
God.
begin to
He need
describe
about 900 freaking years. I don't give a
Absolutely.
Minimum.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Oh my God. 80 freaking times.
And I don't know if anybody that's in the chat that wasn't there in his New York trial, you got to realize that he used these girls to go find other girls for him.
Yep.
He would often tell them to go get your friends, go bring some other girls to me. And then he would do the exact same thing to these other little girls that he was doing to them.
He
And
called
they didn't
Tiffany the
Then
realize-
crack
play them
girl.
against each other.
Yeah, and they didn't
Right,
realize
and
when
then
they were
pit
going
them
to get their
against each
other
other,
girls
right.
that they were going to, they just thought their friends was going to be hanging out with them and R. Kelly, because a lot of times he had them in positions where they couldn't go nowhere, they couldn't see anybody when they were in his home. So they were
Mm-hmm.
happy to just think that, okay, now my friends are going to be here with me too. And that's
Right.
not even what he was doing, and having them get their friends for.
And
Like
you
look
also
at
have to keep in mind
Geronda with
he made these children fall in love with him. By the
Dominique.
time he brought their friends in, they were in love with him.
oh yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, think about Geronda and Dominique. Dominique and Geronda brought her as her friend, and then Dominique stayed like 10 years.
Right. Geronda was
Right.
gone.
Way
Yeah.
gone. Yeah. And
Hmm.
then Geronda and Dominique ended up not talking anymore.
Right.
Yeah, he gets soul ties with these girls and mind manipulation because they're so young and they're impressionable, and it's so sickening
Right.
for him to do it to women, but especially with these little girls. This is ridiculous, and I'm sick of these people calling these little girls out their name and all this stuff because they
Yeah,
are
yeah,
little
Right.
Right.
girls.
crazy
Right.
Right.
ass
Taking up.
bloggers calling them
Yeah.
thoughts and all that kind of
Oh,
crazy stuff.
Right.
so
Taking up.
frustrating.
Taking up for him.
Yeah.
Sexualizing a child.
It's
Wow.
disgusting.
Sickos themselves for saying it. That they just can join him.
And the
Absolutely.
crazy part is a lot of these bloggers have kids.
Right. I feel
Right.
like some of them need to be
Their
investigated.
mothers.
Their mothers, their grandmothers, their aunts, you know what I mean? How can they even offer as one man just because he sings? I mean, really?
Sicko.
But then you have to think about, they have to be the women, right? That children has come to me to say, "Mommy, your boyfriend has messed with me. Mommy,
Mm.
this uncle such
Mm-hmm.
and
And they
such is
wouldn't
messing
Mm-hmm.
with
believe
me.
them.
Mommy, daddy is messing with me." And they're like, "Don't lie. Don't you lie. Don't you tell that lie."
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Yep.
that has to be the people that's defending it. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense.
I saw a blogger get mad about someone saying something about their newborn niece, but still want to take up for R. Kelly. And I'm thinking to myself, how
Wow.
That makes
skewed
no
is
sense.
your thinking?
Right.
It's almost like they're under the mind control that he put on these kids, that for them to even be in, he ain't even physically touch them or mentally talk to them except for in the songs. And I don't understand.
Right.
Right. So you got
Right.
to understand that they are the people that he would take, and even because he did have some grown women that came to him as well, not just children. So you got to think that those are the grown women. Those are the type of grown women that he's looking for.
Right, the
You
ones that
know?
are gonna empathize and gonna help him go get little girls.
And that's gonna it's Robert Kelly. I'm gonna do whatever he says. Just like when you have I can understand some of the kids that he would have the first time he saw them, the first time he had them come out. But some of these women were grown women, and he would have them sitting there for hours and hours, and in some cases days, and sitting
Mm-hmm.
in vans and falling asleep on the couches because they don't have nowhere else to sleep
Right.
until the next day to see him when I
Right.
don't even know if I could use a regular or a normal. I don't even know if that's the correct word to use because I'm not trying to insult them, but I'm just saying, like, to me, any other woman would be like, I'm not about to sit up here and wait for you. Like, if you got something to do and you're busy, I'm about to go run around and I'm about to do this and I'm about to do that. Call me, hit me up when you're ready.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's why he manipulated these young girls' minds. That's why he
He knew he
And he
manipulated
could.
any
knew,
women's
yeah, and I
minds
think that he
because he
knew
knew
that
he could.
he,
And to
he knew
let you
what he was
sit,
doing when he would have them sitting there because he's like, if I can have them sit there and they continue to wait for me, then I know that that's somebody that's going to continue to listen to me.
Yep.
Right.
right? And
Because
then to
we
say,
hear about
when I
these.
enter a room, jump up like a puppy to greet me, hey, daddy.
Right.
Like,
Right.
what?
Right.
Yeah,
After
because
I've been sitting here
didn't he
for
say that he likes his women to be like dogs and remind him of his mother or something like that?
Yeah.
yes, he
His
did.
Yeah.
mother
Yes, he
and
did.
an animal, wasn't it? Or
It was a
something.
A
dog.
puppy.
Yeah, a puppy.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And like you hear about, we're reading this testimony, we're hearing these women, but how many women did he have go to his home, or did he meet out somewhere and didn't fall for his shit and did walk
Mm-hmm.
away?
Right.
You don't hear about all those, you know what I mean? So these are the
Right.
ones that unfortunately they made the wrong choice. They made, a poor choice in judgment. They were young, and I mean, I
They
hope
made
that
a
my
poor
daughter
choice,
doesn't do
and
the same thing ever. But
And he knew what choice and who to choose.
Exactly. Then he's like, oh, yep, that's the one. That's the one.
That's
Let's
the
take.
one. Let me start off by, he would always, it's like, let me start off by telling you about my childhood and my past,
Mm-hmm. I know.
just so that
What
he could
man
get
do you
them to
know
talk
that's gonna
about
break down and
theirs.
cry and talk about shit like that on the first day they meet somebody? You know.
Exactly.
Because he just needed to know whether or not they've been through the same thing.
Right.
And when they've been through the same thing, then he knew that, okay, I got him. This is somebody I can use and I can abuse. Sick individual.
Yeah. All right.
And I hope that this jury puts him under the prison.
I really hope so.
I do too.
Can we start at 8 for Miss Bonjean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Are we on?
Line 8. Line 8. Yeah.
Can we get again? Is there a time frame here? Are we talking months, years?
I said between 14 and 16 years old.
14 and 16. Okay, thank you.
Now, focusing on the time frame between the time when you were 14 and 16 years old, approximately how many times did you have sexual intercourse with Robert Kelly?
Over 80 times.
And between that time you were 14 and 16 years old, approximately how many times did you have threesomes with Robert Kelly and Jane?
Like probably 60.
What?
That's disgusting. Oh my God.
No.
I'm heartbroken.
I am too. This is crazy. And then you have to think about they weren't even the only girls, because a lot of these girls, he had many girls around and women that he was also having sex with at the same time.
DeRogatis said that he himself, DeRogatis, has spoken to like 48 or 49 women.
Yeah.
And men too.
And men too.
And boys. Yeah.
And boys, yep.
So think about all the ones that have not come forward.
He had to be doped up on. He had to take sex pills for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Something.
Did you read the Jensen article? It was years ago before he died.
Yeah, Jensen
but he
said
talked
that they
about
had to give him
during
libido
the first
shots.
Yeah, he gave him injections during
the libido shots.
Yep. He's to make sure that he would behave during that whole time
stopped
period.
taking them because they made him gain weight.
Wait, what happened?
So Jensen, his old attorney, was giving him libido shots, or having him get libido shots, so that during the 2008 trial, he would behave himself. Like he said he knew he was that bad with women.
Wow.
Right, and Kelly stopped taking them because it made him
like a true sex addiction.
Yeah.
Wow.
Golly. All right. So
the article, I believe, is on the Facebook page. I believe.
Wow.
So court reporter says 16.
60.
Now, earlier you testified about having sexual contact with Robert Kelly at his recording studio, correct?
Correct.
And do you recall the name of the recording studio?
Tracks.
And why did Robert Kelly have a recording studio?
Objection. Speculation.
Overruled.
Why did Robert Kelly have a recording studio?
Because he records music.
And what name does his record music under? What name does he record music under?
R. Kelly.
So was he famous at the time that you were spending time with him?
Yes.
Where was Chicago Tracks located?
On Larrabee.
And I'd like to direct your attention to what's been admitted into evidence as Government's Exhibit 114A. Do you recognize the photograph in Government Exhibit 114A?
Yes.
What is it?
The studio.
Now, I'm showing you what's been admitted as Government's Exhibit 114B. Do you recognize this photograph?
Yes.
And what is it?
The call pad to get into the studio.
Excuse me. 1 second. You can go ahead.
You were saying that this is the call box to get into the studio. Is that right?
Yes.
And I'm showing you what has been admitted as Government Exhibit 114E. Do you recognize this photograph?
Yes.
And what is it?
The inside of the studio.
And I'm showing you what has been admitted as Government Exhibit 114G. Do you recognize this photograph?
Yes.
And what is this photograph?
One of the offices.
And that's inside of Track Studio?
Yes.
And I'm showing you what's been marked as Government Exhibits 114L. Do you recognize this photo?
Yes.
And what is it?
One of the rooms in the studio.
And finally, on your screen is Government Exhibit 114P, which has been admitted into evidence. Do you recognize this photograph?
Yes.
And what is this photograph?
Another part of the room in the studio with the bathroom.
And during that time period, you were between the ages of 14 and 16 years old. How would you typically go to studio Chicago Tracks to see Robert Kelly?
Jane's parents, they would take us to hang out.
And during that time period, between the ages of 14 and 16, how would you know when Mr. Kelly wanted to see you at Tracks?
We can call his phone or he'll call us, or Jane would let me know that we're going to go hang out.
And when you would call Chicago Tracks between the ages of 14 and 16, what phone would you use to call the studio?
My cell phone.
And how did you have a number for Chicago Tracks?
He gave it to me.
And by he, are you referring to Robert Kelly?
Yes.
Now, we just looked at some photos that you have identified. Can you describe during the time period between 14 and 16 some of the rooms where you had sexual contact with Robert Kelly at Tracks?
They were like studios. So in some of the studios, he'll have like couches, and then in like other parts of the studio, it might be like a bed or candles on the floor and stuff.
And did you have sexual contact with him? And again, between the ages of 14 and 16, in multiple rooms at Chicago Tracks?
Yes.
All right. And I would like to show you what has been admitted into evidence as Government's Exhibit 108. Do you recognize the person in this photograph?
Yes.
And for purposes of this trial, what are we referring to this person as?
Brittany.
And how do you know Brittany?
That was one of my best friends. We went to grade school, middle school, and high school together.
And did you ever see Brittany at Chicago Tracks?
Yes.
And how old were you when you saw Brittany at Chicago Tracks?
14, 15, 16, 17.
And approximately how many times during that period, 14 to 16 years old, did you see Brittany at Chicago Tracks?
A number?
Again, an estimate of the approximately how many times?
50, 60 times.
And did you ever spend time with Brittany and Robert at Chicago Tracks?
Yes.
And did you engage in sexual activity with Brittany and Robert at Tracks?
Yes.
And how old were you when the sexual activity with Brittany and Robert Kelly occurred?
15 and 16.
And can you please describe the sex acts that occurred between you, Brittany, and Robert?
We would just have threesomes.
And approximately how many times did you have threesomes?
Multiple times.
Okay. And I'd like to ask you some questions about Robert's tour bus. When you were between the ages of 14 and 16, did Robert have a tour bus?
Yes.
And between ages 14 and 16, did you have sexual contact with Robert on the tour bus?
Yes.
And during that same time period, between ages 14 and 16, did you, Jane, and Robert have any threesomes on the tour bus?
Yes.
Okay. And I'd like to direct your attention to an incident that occurred on the tour bus when you were around 15 or 16 years old. Do you remember where the tour bus was parked?
When?
One of the incidents with Jane and Robert?
Yes, outside of the courthouse on 26 in California.
Okay. I'll get to that incident in a minute. Was the tour bus ever parked outside of Hoops?
Yes.
And did you ever spend time with Robert Kelly and Jane on the tour bus when it was near Hoops?
Yes.
And how did you and Jane get onto the tour bus?
We walked on the tour bus. We were escorted, I should say.
And did you ever spend time on Robert Kelly's tour bus when it was located outside of the state of Illinois?
Yes.
Now, during the time that you were having sexual contact with Robert Kelly when you were 14, 15, and 16, how did you feel about Robert Kelly?
I love Rob. He was one of my best friends, yeah.
Thank you so much, Riri. I'm gonna have Lesmond. Let me see who else is here. I'm gonna have Lesmond jump in for a little bit to read Miss Palozzo, please.
And did Mr. Kelly express whether he had feelings about you back when you were in high school?
Yes, he loved me. We had a lot of fun at times.
When you were between the ages of 14 and 16, were there times that Mr. Kelly provided you with alcohol?
Yes.
What kind of alcohol?
Hypnotic. It was good.
And would you sometimes drink alcohol again between 14 and 16 years old before having sexual contact with Mr. Kelly?
Yes. It was more like, just hanging out, drinking, chilling.
Now, during the time that you were between the ages of 14 and 16, did you have sexual contact with Mr. Kelly without Jane?
Yes.
Did you tell Jane that you were having sex with Robert Kelly during that time period?
No. And then that's when the problem started, so.
Why didn't you tell Jane that you were seeing Robert without her there?
Because it was none of her business at the time.
And did Jane eventually find out that you were seeing Robert Kelly without her?
Yes.
About how old were you when Jane found out?
Like 16.
And what happened after Jane found out that you were that had been going on?
It became very problematic in our friendship.
When you were between the ages of 14 and 16 years old, did Robert Kelly ever videotape the two of you having sex?
Yes.
How do you know that a videotape was used during some of those sexual encounters?
Because he had tripods and cameras in the room.
When you were between the ages of 14 and 16, did Robert Kelly ever videotape threesomes that you and Robert had with Jane?
Yes.
And did he ever videotape threesomes that you and Robert had with Brittany between the ages of 14 and 16?
Yes.
Do you know where Robert Kelly kept the videos that he made of you having sex?
He used to have videos in his gym bag, but he kept them in different places.
Did you ever take a videotape from Mr. Kelly's gym bag?
Yeah.
Approximately how old were you when that happened?
Like 15.
And why did you take the tape from the gym bag?
Because I was just a rebel.
And did you watch the tape to see what was on it?
No, I didn't watch it.
And what did you do with the tape after taking it?
I gave it back to him.
What was his reaction when he found out you took the tape?
He was real mad.
I'd like to direct your attention to late 2001. Were you still living in the Chicago area at the time?
Yes.
And did you participate in an interview with officers from the Chicago Police Department?
Yes, I did.
Was anyone else present for the interview with CPD?
I think my mom was present at that time.
And earlier you stated that you were born in 1984, correct?
That's correct.
So would you have turned 17 in October of 2001, correct?
Correct.
Did the officers tell you what they wanted to ask you about during the interview?
Yes. They said they wanted to show me a picture and for me to identify the person.
And your mother was present when they were going to show you this picture.
Yes.
And did they show you a picture during that interview?
Yes.
Can you describe the photo that they showed you?
They showed me a photo of Jane like naked with Rob, and then they showed me another photo of her on a tour bus with someone, but their face was blurred out.
And when you saw the photos, did you identify the person that was in these photos?
Eventually, yes.
Can you describe what you mean by eventually?
I said, fuck. I was nervous because my mom was with me and I didn't want to tell on my friend and I didn't want to incriminate myself because I didn't want my mom to know what was going on. But I knew my mom knew that that was Jane. So I couldn't say that it wasn't Jane when it was Jane. So I just said, yes, it was Jane. But I did not tell them what the other photo was.
And at that time, you were 17 and with your mom during that interview with the police. Did she know that you were having sexual contact with Robert Kelly?
No, she don't know that, no.
She knows it now. And based on the photo of Jane when she was naked with Robert Kelly, could you tell where that photograph had been taken?
No, I can't tell where that particular one was taken. I think it was on the tour bus.
After the interview with CPD in late 2001, did you later receive a subpoena to testify before the grand jury in Cook County?
Yes.
And did you tell Robert Kelly about the subpoena that you received?
Yes, I did.
What was his response?
He was upset. He said that I don't supposed to be talking to these people and I put him in a very tricky situation. And I apologize because that was not my intent. I never wanted to hurt Rob. That was not my intentions. But if my mom was present, I didn't know what else to do.
Did you testify before the grand jury in May of 2002?
Yes,
And you were 17 years old at that time, correct?
correct.
Did you have an attorney present with you for your testimony?
Yes, I did.
And who hired that attorney?
My mother.
During your grand jury testimony in 2002, were you shown photographs of Jane?
Yes.
And were they similar to the photographs that you had been shown by the police officer before your testimony?
Yes.
And when asked if you could identify the person in the photograph, what did you do?
I did it. I identified her.
During your grand jury testimony, were you asked about whether you had ever seen Jane having any physical relations with Robert Kelly?
Yes.
And what did you say in response to that question?
I told them no.
And so you lied about what you knew about Jane and Robert Kelly.
I sure did. Yes, I did.
And why? Why did you lie in the grand jury?
Because I wasn't going to admit that in front of my mom for nobody, period.
Understandable. At any point during the grand jury process, did you tell the state prosecutors that you and Robert Kelly were also having sex when you were a minor?
No, I did not.
And why was that?
A couple of reasons. The first reason, I did not want to have myself involved. Second reason, I didn't want to put Rob in an even worse situation. I was calling myself trying to be as loyal as possible, but not mess up things with my own mom and make her feel like something tricky was going on. And they didn't, they asked me specifically about some pictures, and that's what I was talking to them about. They didn't have pictures of me, so I didn't need to insert myself into that situation.
Hmm. Now, earlier you testified that after you graduated from high school, you attended college, correct?
Yes.
And did you come to Chicago during Robert Kelly's trial in 2008?
Yes.
Who asked you to come to Chicago at that time?
Rob.
Did Mr. Kelly tell you why he wanted you to come to Chicago during the trial?
No. He said he wanted to see me. We talked. He wanted to talk to me about, what was going on, but we didn't discuss that over the phone until I came to town.
And after you arrived in Chicago during the trial in 2008, did you meet with Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
And where did that meeting take place?
On a tour bus. That's when I first got dropped off on the tour bus on 26 in California.
Hmm. Okay, my God. So it was parked near the courthouse at 26 in California.
Yes.
Was Robert Kelly on the bus when you arrived at first?
No, not at the time, no.
So what did you do when you arrived and he wasn't there?
I sat there and waited.
About how long did you wait on the bus before you saw Robert Kelly?
About 2 hours.
Was anyone else on the tour bus while you were waiting?
Not to my knowledge at the time, no.
When Robert Kelly arrived, did you learn that someone else was on the tour bus?
Yes, I did.
Who was on the bus?
Jane.
And when you saw Jane was on the bus, were you happy to see her?
I was in tears, yeah. I hadn't seen her in a long, very, very long time.
And how did Jane react when she saw you?
She was a little standoffish.
And did you have a conversation with Robert and Jane on the tour bus?
Yes.
And what was said by Mr. Kelly during that conversation?
We talked about what was going on and how they were trying to make him this bad guy and that we know he's not a bad guy. And I'm like, yeah, you're not a bad guy. And how, he didn't want me saying the wrong thing to the wrong person because they can misconstrue your words. So we talked about that type of stuff. And, I really wanted to talk to her more, but we were not on good terms.
And this conversation you described about not talking to people, are you was he referring to what was going on with the trial?
Yes, and like the police and stuff. But like I told him then, I didn't find them. They found me. I didn't go looking for these people to try and throw anybody under the bus, even today. That's just not what I do. But when they keep, you see people, you're going to have to eventually talk to people. Nobody's stupid.
And when you're referring to they found me, are you referring to being served with a grand jury subpoena?
Yes.
Were you called to testify at the 2008 trial?
No.
Okay. Before moving on to the last few topics, I do have to ask you. You talked about having oral sex with Robert Kelly between the ages of 14 and 16, and I do have to have you explain your definition of that.
Sucking cock.
And sexual intercourse, can you explain your definition of that as well?
Him inserting it in me.
And by it, you mean his penis?
Vaginally, yes.
Okay. I'd like to direct your attention to the weeks leading up to your 20th birthday. Since you were born in October 1984, you would have turned 20 in October of 2004, correct?
Yes.
When you were 19 going on 20 years old, were you still in contact with Robert Kelly?
Yes.
And during that time frame, do you recall placing a telephone call to Robert's studio?
Yeah.
Why did you call Robert's studio?
Because he was not being a good boyfriend at the time. He was not answering my phone calls.
And did you leave a message at the studio?
Yes.
And did Robert get back in touch with you after you left the message?
He sure did.
Can you explain why you reached out to him and what message you left for him?
Well, he calls it extortion. I call it don't play with me. Brittany and I was trying to get his attention, and I kept calling him, and I was like, he not answering. Okay, I got him. So I was like, this what we gonna do. We concocted this idea that if we call and tell him that, I don't know, at the time it was something going on, but we're like, I'm going to tell him that I'm getting ready to tell my mama everything if he doesn't give me such and such thousands of dollars. And she's like, don't do that because we're going to get in trouble. I'm like, you so scary. She was always very scary, and I didn't care, so I did it. And I portrayed like I was her, but it wasn't really her. I was me. And of course he called me back. I shouldn't have did that. He was upset.
Did you follow through with that request for money from Robert?
No, it was like, I mean, to you all, it's like, I don't know what to say. You're judging me or us, but that was like my boyfriend. So girls get mad and say stupid stuff or want to slap you or bust your car windows out. I never did that. I'm just saying, it was just a threat. I wasn't, he knew it. He knew that. If he didn't knew that, he wouldn't have had me still around all these other years. I never got the money. It wasn't even about the money. I was just trying to get his attention, and he called, so it worked.
When did your sexual contact with Mr. Kelly end? How old were you?
I was grown. I was out of college.
Now, earlier you testified that you were not completely truthful to the police and the grand jury when you were asked about Robert Kelly in 2002, correct?
Yes.
Why are you testifying here today?
Objection, Judge, because she has a subpoena and she's supposed to testify. I mean, I don't think it's appropriate.
Your Honor, the witness can answer that question herself.
Okay, it's
Overruled. Overruled. She can answer.
Why are you testifying?
Because it's that I'm in a different place in life. I have direct accountability for having sex with him. Yes, that is true. I could have probably said no or told my mom's or someone earlier, but I was scared. And I loved him. I still love him. Like, that was really my close friend. It was in a weird way. I know you all might judge me, but it's like it was like best friend meets boyfriend meets dad in one person. He taught me a lot, and I'm just in a different place. I'm a mom now. I'm a wife. So things I thought that were cool when I was a teenager, and oh, this is awesome, we're hanging out, I can do whatever. That's not okay when I'm a 37-year-old mother, and somebody did something to my kids, I'm killing them, period.
okay, Judge. I don't know what this narrative is, but it's gone on, I think.
Your Honor, can I have a moment, please?
All right. One moment.
Nothing further.
Miss Bonjean, you may cross-examine.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Cross-examination.
All right, y'all, don't hate me for this, okay?
Hey,
I'm
bring
ready.
it. Bring it. Bring it.
Do you think?
Hey, Caleb, don't go running that. Don't be scared now.
I ain't scared.
Love,
All right.
I apologize for this in advance, Pauline.
Hey, do
You're
your
good.
I
damn
don't know
thing.
you ever talked before, but okay. I'm really a nice girl.
I
Good
believe
morning.
you. Good morning.
We're calling you Pauline, I guess, right?
You can hear just like I can.
Ooh.
Okay. I represent Mr. Kelly,
Awesome.
and I want to ask you some questions, and I'd like you to answer truthfully. Okay? First of all, you claim that you allegedly discovered Mr. Kelly in you called it the Pine Room, right?
No, that's not what I said.
Well, you previously have referred to it as the Pine Room.
Time room, cabin room. Okay.
Okay. So you are agreeing that you have previously referred to it as the Pine Room, right?
No, I didn't say that. You said it.
Okay. Have you previously told the federal agents that it was called the Pine Room?
Perhaps I have.
Okay.
It's been so many years of this.
So that's a yes. You have previously referred to it as the Pine Room. That's a yes, right?
That's a perhaps.
Okay. Well, how about perhaps we'll show you your prior statements, and then
And we can proceed. You're right.
Okay, great.
You've got the right one.
Ooh.
Do you remember being interviewed by the Assistant United States Attorneys at the table and a Special Agent Reynolds and Molina back on June 12th of 2019? Last sentence, Pauline.
Yes.
Okay. Go to the next page. And at page 3 of 6, I want to have you look at the first half of that paragraph and just read it to yourself first.
Okay.
So, did you refer to the room that you...
I guess so, yes.
Okay, all right, no problem. You also said it had lots of fur in it, right?
Yes, it did.
Okay, you can take that down. Now, what year was it that you found Mr. Kelly and your friend Jane in the Pine Room?
Like 97?
Okay, and you claim that you were there taking a dance class with Andrea Kelly. Is that right? Or I think a dance type of, I don't know. I don't know if it was a class.
She's a choreographer. I was there. We went shopping that day and we were practicing for the upcoming tour. So because I'm into dance, I was watching that. That's what I claim.
Okay. And then at some point you noticed that Jane wasn't around and you said you went looking for her, right?
Yes.
Okay. And when you purportedly found them in the Pine Room, the door was not locked. It was just wide open.
It was cracked.
Oh, it was cracked. So you were able to just go right in. Is that right?
Yes.
And you were savvy. You understood that you were seeing what you were seeing was wrong, right?
I sure did.
In fact, you even told Jane and Mr. Kelly that you knew right from wrong, right?
Yes.
But this isn't a story that you ever told anyone until 2019. Am I correct?
No.
Well, this isn't a story that you've told certainly any law enforcement until 2019, correct?
Correct.
All right. And so you sort of kept this a secret for what, over 20 some years? Is that right?
Yep.
And you've been interviewed by law enforcement on numerous occasions prior to June of 2019, right?
I sure have.
And at each point, you failed to disclose any information about what you saw in the Pine Room in 1997.
Oh, I didn't fail. I didn't fail. I was a scared minor. So that's how I reacted to it.
Well, you didn't stay a minor. You had the opportunity to tell assistant state's attorneys at the time he was being prosecuted when you were actually an adult, right?
Yes. And I was still afraid at the time to say it.
Right.
Because anytime someone is going through something, you have no time limit on their healing.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. My question is, though, you did not tell anybody in law enforcement, the Cook County State's Attorney's Office, any federal agents, anybody in law enforcement about this incident during his criminal prosecution in state court or at any point at all prior to 2019, right?
Correct.
All right. And in fact, you testified against Mr. Kelly before the grand jury in 2002, right?
Correct.
And your testimony, in part, led to his indictment for child pornography in 2002, correct?
Objection. No foundation for that question.
She can. It's cross examination.
Right?
I guess so.
Well, you knew he then became indicted, right?
Yes.
And you,
As everyone else did.
right. So, and you knew you were one of the witnesses who testified before the grand jury and identified him as a person in that video, correct?
Yes.
That same location that you yourself claimed to have seen them in back in 1997, right?
Yes.
And your mother also testified and identified or told the police that was her, that Jane was in that video, correct?
Correct.
And did your mom testify before the grand jury too?
No.
Okay. So, and you and your mom were quite close as I understand it.
We're very close.
Right. And you were so close that you've said that, you couldn't possibly have, denied that it was your friend and Mr. Kelly in front of your mom, right?
Right.
And she's the one who was like, you're talking to this detective, correct?
Correct.
Right. When you talked to the detective, you weren't trying to protect anybody. You weren't trying to protect Rob.
Yes, I was.
Well, by protecting him, you identified him. Is that your idea of protecting him?
If I see a spider, I know it's a spider. I'm going to say it's a spider. No one is going to tell me that I don't see who I see.
Right, because you thought it important to tell the truth, right?
They asked me a question that was in my face, so I responded truthfully at that moment, yes.
You thought it was important to tell the truth about what you saw, right?
Correct.
And you certainly didn't want to lie to a grand jury, correct?
Correct.
I mean, you understand that that would be a crime to lie before the grand jury, correct?
Yes.
Even at 17 years old, you understood that it would be a crime to give false testimony before a grand jury, right?
It's also a crime to do a lot of things, but people get away with it daily, correct?
That's a great point. And you yourself are among those people, as it turns out, right? Is that right?
Yep.
And you testified before the grand jury, despite the fact that you are not, you weren't Team Rob and Team Jane, right?
That's not true.
Well, Jane didn't even identify herself in this video. You knew that, right?
Yeah.
And she didn't want you to identify her, correct?
That's between her and herself, but I'm going to say what I see.
Right. And you were, I'm guessing, very independent and strong-willed, even at 17, right?
All the time.
All right. So when you were asked, have you ever seen Jane and Mr. Kelly in a sexual relationship, you actually told the truth, which was, no, I have not seen that.
No, that was a lie.
Okay. So despite the fact that you were truthful about everything else, and you were an independent, strong-minded woman who was trying to do the right thing, that was the one thing that you lied about, right?
Yes, because I was Team James and Rob, I was just trying to, I was just going to state the obvious that my mother and anyone else can see that it was Jane. But I didn't want to go into details and tell them that. I did not want to do that.
Right. So instead, you made the decision to give false testimony before a grand jury, right?
I guess so.
Okay. Now, you have you did a you did have a sexual relationship with Mr. Kelly that extended over a period of time. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. It didn't start when you were 14 or 15 or even 16 though, correct?
No. What are you talking about?
Well, let me ask you this. In 2004, while Mr. Kelly's prosecution was pending against him, okay, you were what, 19-ish? Does that sound about right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And in 2004, he had a pending case against him. You understood that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, you were in a sexual relationship with Mr. Kelly. Fair?
You said what now?
At that point in 2004, you were in a sexual relationship with Mr. Kelly. Fair?
I had always been.
Okay. And you of course knew that he was fighting these charges and would eventually go to trial on those charges that were pending in 2004, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And you have explained that you and your friend Brittany came up with this plan to get $35,000 from Mr. Kelly, right?
Yeah.
Am I getting something wrong there?
You heard me say that earlier, yes.
Okay. And you ended up calling up his business and pretending to be Brittany. Is that correct?
Correct.
And Brittany is a year older than you. Am I right about that?
Yes.
Okay. And you spoke with someone from the company, right?
Yes.
And you told that person that, again, you're talking as Brittany, right? Am I right?
Correct.
So you were misrepresenting yourself.
Correct.
And you said that something inappropriate had happened on the bus, right?
Correct.
And you were referring to something that had recently happened inappropriate on the bus, correct?
I didn't say when it happened. I just told them something inappropriate happened.
Okay. And so what were you referring to exactly?
It doesn't matter. I just said it.
What were you referring to?
It didn't matter at the time. I just said it to get his attention and I got it.
I understand. But what I'm asking you now, what were you referencing?
I can't remember back then. It was so long ago.
You have no idea what you were referencing.
It could have been anything.
Okay. And well, I think the jury would like to know what the conduct was that you were referencing on the bus back in 2004. Can you answer that?
No, I can't.
And you said to this person, was it someone at Base Productions, or was it, or who was it you were speaking to exactly?
I don't recall.
Okay, it wasn't Robert himself. It was,
It wouldn't have been Robert because he wasn't answering my calls.
oh, right. Yeah, right. You were mad about that though, right?
Very mad about it, yeah.
I see. And you were speaking to a man or a woman?
A man.
Okay. And you told the man that something had happened that's inappropriate, but you were saying it happened against your friend Brittany, right?
Yes.
Okay. And you said that if he doesn't, respond, we are going to take further action or something along.
You can play the tape if you want to.
Okay.
I'm sure you have it.
Okay. Well, I'd ask Judge that she answer the questions rather than put on information that may or may not be relevant to these proceedings, but it's not her place to decide. You're a witness, okay?
Your Honor, I'm not sure what the question is.
Atmos?
Repeat your question that you want to answer.
What I said was you told someone from Base Productions or some man that if Robert didn't call you back about this incident, you were going to take further action, right?
Yes.
Okay. You think that you think there is a tape of that conversation?
I don't know.
You seem to You are the one that just said you can play the tape. Is there a tape of that conversation?
I'm not sure. I'm just saying you seem to have so much evidence and you have so many slides.
Do you know of a tape of that information? Okay, you are the witness. You answer the questions that I ask. Okay. Are you aware of a tape of your attempt to extort Mr. Kelly? I would like to know that.
No.
Okay. But you don't disagree, right? That there was a communication to this person that if he doesn't get back in touch with us, we are going to the authorities or something like that, right?
Absolutely.
Right. And you knew he had a pending child pornography case, correct?
Correct.
That would get his attention, I assume, right?
It did.
Okay. And you also wrote a letter to him, didn't you?
Yes.
And you threatened him that if he didn't pay you $35,000 about some incident on the bus.
Well, it was not my handwriting. He left a message. So let's state that the person at the studio.
Okay. I'm asking you, did you write the letter?
No.
Who wrote the letter?
The person leaving the message.
Wasn't that you?
I was verbally given the message. Someone had to manually write a message.
Okay, so who put the pen to the paper to author the letter?
I'm not sure.
Did you see the letter?
No.
You never saw the letter that was the corresponding attempt to extort money from your phone call.
I don't believe so. I don't recall.
Are you suggesting that Brittany wrote the letter?
I'm not suggesting anything.
Pauline, did you see a letter?
I don't recall.
She asked and answered, Your Honor. Objection.
Did you ever see a letter that was purportedly written by either you or your friend Brittany?
Objection. Asked and answered.
Not answered.
Well, okay. Answer it once more. Did you or did you not see a letter?
I don't recall.
Okay. Now, in your phone call to whoever it is that you placed this phone call to, you didn't threaten to disclose that you had a relationship with Mr. Kelly as a minor, right?
No.
And you didn't threaten to disclose that Jane had a relationship with Mr. Kelly as a minor, did you?
Again, I was posing to be Brittany, so why would I do that?
Again, whether you are posing to be Brittany or not, you did not threaten to disclose that Mr. Kelly had a relationship with Jane, did you?
No.
And you didn't. And according to you, you didn't write any letter threatening to disclose an illicit relationship with you and Mr. Kelly as a minor, right?
No.
And you didn't see any letter, it sounds like, threatening to disclose an illicit relationship with you and Mr. Kelly, right?
I don't recall.
Okay, so in your effort to extort Mr. Kelly of $35,000, you did not lead with your best stuff, did you?
Again, I was really not trying to extort him for money.
It seems if you really want to get someone's attention, you might have mentioned, oh, remember we had an illicit relationship as a minor? But you didn't do that, did you?
No, because I was calling my boyfriend. I don't have to state facts where he already knew facts were stated.
No, but you came up. You conjured up some other incident to threaten him with revealing information that would impact his case. But you didn't. You didn't use the really good stuff, did you?
Nope. I did just enough to get his attention.
Okay. Now, you claim that between the ages of 14 and 16, you had 60 threesomes with Jane. Is that right?
Yeah.
You previously said you had 100 threesomes with her.
Well, today you asked me to just throw a number. I said lots. We can say 100. We can say 200. We fucked a lot.
Mm.
Oh, that was the government asking those questions, but it sounds to me like being precise isn't really important to you. Am I right?
It's important.
So to you, 60, 100, 200, it doesn't really matter, right?
No, I wouldn't say that. I would say whether it's once or twice, what's wrong is wrong, right?
Well, that's a different question. It's still your obligation to give truthful testimony. And that's what I'm asking you to do, okay?
And I'm trying my hardest to do that, ma'am.
Okay,
However, when you are dealing with such long durations of time, I might not have the numbers 100%
right,
precise, but I'm trying to be as precise as possible.
right.
So we can say 100 if you want.
I don't have a desire to testify for you. I'd like you to testify to the best of your ability. So now you're saying it's possibly 100 times, right?
Yes.
Possibly 200 times?
If we're counting, I don't know.
Okay, could it be 500 times?
No, it wasn't that much.
All right. And you testified that you gave testimony before the grand jury and you had spoken to Mr. Kelly before you gave that testimony, right?
Yes, in his kitchen.
Right. And you told him that you had identified him and were going to identify him, correct?
Yes.
And he said he understood. He understood that you had to go in there and tell the truth, right?
Yes.
So he didn't say, go in there and lie. He said, I understand the predicament you are in. Go tell the truth. Go tell the truth, didn't he?
He stated, all right, do what you got to do. I understand because you already said what you had to say.
Right. So he said, go do what you got to do. And he didn't say, for instance, make sure you don't tell the Cook County State's attorneys about that time you walked in on Jane and I, right?
Oh, he stated not to tell the wrong information. He stated that yes, he definitely did to me.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's important stuff. You certainly would have told the federal agents of those facts when you spoke to them.
Why? That's just a conversation.
It would seem that conversation with Mr. Kelly in and around this time period would be important. So you are now saying that you had a conversation with him where he said to you something along the lines of, don't mention what you saw.
No, he didn't say don't mention what you saw. He said you already done fucked up.
Okay.
That's what he said. He said you already done fucked up.
And
And you already done said who is who. So you're going to stick with that.
okay. And this testimony that you are giving today, you've never told anybody about before, right?
Nope.
So this is just something we get to hear about for the first time today. Is that right?
I'm just, you asked the question. I'm giving you the answer.
Right. Yeah. It seems to me that you are giving us information for the first time today, even though you've been. Let's talk about how many times you've been interviewed by the federal agents and the U.S. attorneys. Quite a few, right?
Mm-hmm.
June 12th was your first interview, right?
Yes.
And in fact, in that interview on June 12th of 2019, you never even mentioned that you had a sexual relationship with Mr. Kelly when you were underage, did you?
I don't recall.
Well, shall we look at the report?
Yeah, let's look at it.
Okay, pull it up. Okay, this is your first time where this is the first time where you are a grown adult, a mother, and you are coming in to tell the truth, right?
Oh no. This is the first time where they found me in my last house and I told them I would cooperate and come see what they were saying. Yeah.
But you gave an interview then and you provided a lot of information, right?
Yes.
And one bit of information you did not tell them was about your relationship with him as a minor, correct?
No, we had a conversation.
Okay, well, let's look. Let's look at this. You testified. Go to the next page, please, Ashley. Okay, now, at the bottom of page 1 and to the next page, we looked at that a little bit, but I'm going to let you look at it again. You conveyed to the agents about this incident in which you found them in
The pine room is what you said.
the pine room. Yeah, well, that's what you said.
Right. We're going to call it the pine room.
Okay, let's keep with that. And you did mention there was this interaction where, you kissed your friend. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So you did say that. And then at no point after that did you mention that you had an ongoing sexual relationship with Mr. Kelly.
Right there, right there, it talks about me living like, feeling like I'm living a double life. Secrets were of a sexual nature.
Right. Yeah.
So, what does that mean?
I don't know.
A sexual relationship.
Again, you did not tell the agents about your sexual relationship with him after you discovered Jane and Mr. Kelly in the pine room, right?
No, it says right here, stated that every time she would visit Kelly's house, more secrets were created.
Okay. You said more secrets were created, right?
So you can imagine what those secrets are.
We don't like to imagine as lawyers.
Oh, well, and I don't like to say about molestation. So I guess I should have used the word having sex instead of secrets.
Right.
I apologize.
Well, secrets could have been anything, right?
No, they weren't talking about anything because we were talking about what was going on.
You could have,
Previously stated.
a secret is also one secret that you kept, according to you, is catching Robert and Jane in this pine room, right? That was a secret, right?
Exactly.
Right.
So again, we were talking about sexual secrets.
Okay. I would like you to point me, take as much time as you want reading this, to where you told the agents that from 14 to 16, you, Pauline, engaged in a sexual relationship with Mr. Kelly. And I'll just take you right to the spot of page 4 through 6, third paragraph. You, in fact, said that you had a sexual or you indicated sexual interactions with Kelly and Jane at the recording studio when you were 16 or 17 years old, right?
I did it then as well, yes.
You never mentioned anything in this entire report about it being 14 or 15. Am I right?
Not in this report, but
Okay,
they were also asking different times and different events, but it's been multiple times.
right. Again, I'm just trying to get to the bottom of the fact that you never told the agents on June 12th that you were 14 or 15 when you had these sexual relations, right?
No, but I did state that we were in the seventh and eighth grade.
Well, 17, you weren't in seventh or eighth grade, right?
My point, so do the math. I wasn't 16 and 17 at that time.
So you are saying that you told them you were in seventh or eighth grade when you had sexual relationship with Mr. Kelly.
Yes.
Well, start at the beginning of that report. Perhaps you can find it for us. Let me know when you see that you said that.
Okay. So in the statement, you're correct. It doesn't state that
All right, great.
time frame.
All right. And you claim today that you were provided with alcohol, right?
Yes, hypnotic
Okay. What does hypnotic look like?
is blue. It used to be his favorite drink.
Okay. Maybe I'm going to ask her to look at hypnotic. Is that the drink you drink?
Yes.
Okay, it's called hypnotic.
Yeah.
And you claim you were drinking this from the age of 14 to 16, right?
I didn't say from 14. I said we drink drinks. I said I liked hypnotic.
Okay.
That's what I like to drink.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. I think you do. I think you know where I am going with this too.
I think you know where I'm going with it. I'm pretty sure in 2001 I was still in high school.
Well, no, let's 14 to 16. You testified that you would drink hypnotic with Mr. Kelly and Jane or whomever, right?
Mhm.
And you know, hypnotic didn't even hit the market until 2002, right?
Okay. We were drinking it then.
Okay. And so you couldn't have been drinking hypnotic when you were 14.
Why would you think that?
It didn't exist in 14, ma'am.
Oh, okay.
And you couldn't have been drinking it when you were 15 because it didn't exist when you were 15.
Okay. But I was still drinking.
So it wasn't hypnotic now.
I stated it was lots of different drinks. I talked about hypnotic because that was my favorite drink to drink.
Right. You not only mentioned that here today.
I mention it all the time
Right.
because I know what we used to drink.
Right.
He used to make a drink called the Incredible Hulk. It's with Hennessy and hypnotic mixed.
Right. And you testified that you would call or Kelly called your life a fantasy island. Is that right?
Yes, Fantasy Island.
Okay. You told the agents that you'd be drinking hypnotic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if you were drinking hypnotic with Mr. Kelly, you had to be 17 years old.
No.
All right. You can take that down. Now, you didn't just attempt to extort Mr. Kelly in 2004 when he was facing a criminal trial. You also tried, you also stole a tape from him earlier than that, right?
I took a tape
Okay. And, okay.
and I gave it back to him.
I always get the took and stole wrong. So you took a tape, but you didn't have permission to take it, right?
No.
You didn't know what was on it, right?
I still don't. I didn't watch it.
Okay. And you demanded $50,000 for that tape, didn't you?
No, I did not.
Okay. Do you remember giving an interview to the U.S. attorneys and the federal agents over here on June 26th of 2019?
No. Let me see.
Okay. Well, let's take a look. Let me know if you can. It refreshes your recollection. It says it was in Oak Park, Illinois.
Nope. Don't remember.
Okay. Let's see. Go to page 4 of 6, middle of the page.
Okay.
I'm just going to ask you to answer my question. I don't need you to read it out loud. Just read it to yourself, and then I'm going to have a question for you. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
You told the agents that you told Mr. Kelly that you had the videotape and would return it for $50,000, right?
Yes.
Okay. Take that down. You do have a nickname you go by. We are not going to mention what it is, but you do have a nickname you go by, right?
Everyone has a nickname.
I don't, but I'll take your word for that fact that most of people in your world have a nickname, and that's fine, but you do.
What do you mean, my world?
Your friends, the people that you associate with, have nicknames.
Oh, okay.
There is nothing wrong with having a nickname. My children have nicknames. Don't read into my statement. You have a nickname?
Okay.
Is that right?
Yes, I said everyone has a nickname.
Okay. The nickname you have Mr. Kelly purportedly gave you, that's what you've previously stated before, right?
Yep,
So you've kept that nickname?
I have. That's what I go by.
Right.
That's what my friends and people call me, yeah?
Right. And that's a nickname that Mr. Kelly gave you.
Yes.
Didn't think maybe you might want to go by a different nickname from this guy that allegedly abused you. Has that never crossed your mind?
And again, I just told you earlier, yes, he abused me, but I really loved him and we were in a relationship. So, yeah, I'm going to call myself what I want to call myself.
Okay, to each their own.
What did you say?
I said to each their own.
Yep.
All right. Okay. You have testified that, let me get to the bottom of this. You testified that you were asked to look at during the 2001 investigation prior to your grand jury testimony. You looked at some photos, right? And that's when you identified Jane. You mentioned you looked at another photo from the tour bus.
Mm-hmm.
And who showed you that photo?
The officer that was in that area, we were on, I don't know that precinct, but it's in the Lawndale community off of Holman. Yeah, the officer showed me that.
Detective Everett. Does that ring a bell?
I don't remember his name.
Okay. And you said there was a picture blurred out on it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Who else was in the photo of individuals who were not blurred out?
Jane.
Okay. Just Jane?
No, it was a blurred out photo.
It was what?
A blurred out photo.
When you say blurred out, you mean the faces were blurred out?
Yeah, it was distorted.
Okay.
You could not tell the person.
And you are claiming, you are stating here that you were shown a photo that included Mr. Kelly.
Yes, one of the photos.
The one on the tour bus?
There were 3 different photos.
Let's talk about the one on the tour bus, okay?
Mm-hmm.
It had Mr. Kelly's image on it.
That was exhibit 2. Yes.
Okay. I'm talking about, did you see any of the photos here today that you were referencing right this second?
No.
Okay, so let's focus on that one. Was Mr. Kelly's face in that photo?
Yes.
Okay, what about Jane's face?
Yes.
And you're saying that there was someone else on that?
Yeah.
And who was that?
No, not on that slide, like the picture that they were showing me. It was a separate picture with Jane and another girl.
Okay, and who was that?
It doesn't matter. I don't know. It was blurred out.
Okay, are you suggesting it was you?
I suggested that it was blurry, so I could not see it.
Did you suspect it was you?
It was blurry.
Yeah, so you suspect it was you, right?
It was blurry.
Okay, and are you telling me that at no point Detective Everett showed you that non-blurred out photo? Was it blurred out? Well, strike that. It was just blurry because that was the photo, or was it blurred out by...
That was just...
Hold on, let me finish my question. Or was it blurred out by law enforcement?
No, it was blurred out because that was the only... It was blurred out because that was the way that they took the still shot from the video. It was a video. He told me it was a videotape. They stilled the shot and it was blurry.
And you're saying it was from the tour bus?
Yes.
And he asked you to look at it and see if you could identify the people?
The people who were in it, yes.
Yeah, and you suspected it was you, but you didn't tell him, is that right?
I didn't say that.
Okay. Have you ever seen this ever again since Detective Everett showed it to you in 2001?
No.
Okay. Did these individuals over here at the government's table ever show you this video that you are referencing?
No, it wasn't a video. I said it was a still shot of the video.
Right. Did they ever show you a video of an alleged threesome on a tour bus?
No.
Did they ever show you any still shots from an alleged threesome on a tour bus?
No.
Have you ever seen any video from an alleged threesome on a tour bus?
Yes, that day.
You saw the video or you saw the still shots?
No, I saw still shots. I've never watched a video.
Okay, so when I pull Detective Everett back in here, he's going to confirm that you actually viewed still shots from a video of a threesome.
Yes, he would. Yes.
Okay.
Miss Bonjean, how much longer are you going?
Not too much longer. Do you want to take a break?
We can take our morning break now.
All right,
Okay.
y'all. That's what we're gonna break for the night. Great job. Oh my God.
Excellent. Y'all did excellent.
Bravo. Man.
Excellent.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, man.
I felt
Y'all.
like I was in the courtroom. It was so riveting.
Oh.
Pauline is feisty.
Yes.
She
Oh.
is.
She is.
She was giving it to Bonjean.
Brah freaking go, man. Oh, bravo.
That was
Caleb, where you been? Really?
What do you mean, where have I been?
Why have you been up here reading?
Child.
I had to
Man.
get over myself. That's what it was. I was nervous.
Nervous.
came in and killed it.
Thank
Girl,
you.
Yeah, you did.
Oh,
Did that.
listen. Please tell me. So listen, y'all. So tomorrow is Labor Day. So I kind of want to, y'all got off work. I don't want y'all coming on here and working too. So if y'all want to, if we're gonna take the day off, let's take the whole day off and come back and tackle this on Tuesday night at about 9.
Tuesday night is not good for me. I have to work until 10 o'clock.
Oh, okay.
Well, what time zone are you in?
Eastern.
Eastern.
On my
Okay.
time zone. Okay.
Okay.
So
Y'all sure y'all don't want to do tomorrow night? I mean,
we
can
can
have
do
the
tomorrow
day.
night if
We
y'all
can
want.
do
I
it
was just trying to
tomorrow.
be
Yeah.
do tomorrow night.
At like
Yep.
9.
Okay, 9 o'clock again tomorrow night. We'll be back here.
That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, Caleb, do you? Okay, so like, are you? Or do you like, girl? You read so like.
Do you
Really?
already have the transcript, Caleb?
What did you say?
Did you already have that or no?
He had to email me that one. I had the rest of them. It was just that one I was missing.
So you already had saw what she was giving?
I watched the Plain James video, and when she started talking about like specific things she said, I'm like, oh my God, I want to play her.
Oh, she is off the chain.
Listen,
Mhm.
you know
Wow,
what?
you were
And here's the
awesome.
thing: you got a chance to like go back at Bonjean the way nobody else went back at her. Like,
Absolutely. She was
like
holding her own with Bonjean. Definitely.
man, listen.
Yeah, because
I
Bon
was
Jean
trying
is
You
to
gave it
nasty.
to her.
get spice. I was trying
She
to get a little
was.
bit more fresh, and she just kept right on back with me.
Man, listen.
But Ben kept wanting to say, 16 or 17. She don't never want to talk about those younger ages. She want to try
No,
to keep
she
it around that
doesn't.
age where they legal.
She said, I said what I said. That's not what
It
I
was
said.
the part about the drinking for me. I'm like, okay, either way, she wasn't 21. So what's your point?
Caleb
Right.
92. What's
She
your
was trying to say the
what's
sex.
your cash app?
Me?
Yes.
Savage 942.
SAVAGE 942.
Yep.
You go, girl.
$ Savage 942. I just added you to our little list, man. So people, if y'all want to be a blessing to these ladies up here, man, like please do. Wow. Listen, y'all, amazing job. Amazing.
Yeah.
Happy Labor Day. I don't know if that's a day you celebrate, but I'm
It's a
glad
day off.
it's a day off.
Yeah, it's a day off.
Enjoy your day off. We will be back here tomorrow night at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and we're gonna kill it.
Yes.
Okay.
We are going to kill it. But listen, y'all go ahead and get y'all some rest. Have a great day tomorrow. If we can be back here tomorrow night at 9, Caleb, you could please come back and play.
Oh, I'll be
Pauline,
here.
Tanya, Shay, Riri, because this is amazing.
I'll
And
be
let's
here.
The
Did y'all,
dream team, honey.
man, this is a dream
that's
team.
right.
No, gone. Did
Oh, did
y'all want to
someone put the page number in the chat? 2351.
please? Thank you. Yep. So 2351, that's the page number. Perfect.
We going through them.
Yes, we are. We getting through. So we don't. Y'all. We done read
Monday.
2,300 freaking pages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
How many did we
crazy.
read last time?
Like 5,000.
5,000.
It
That was
was
a lot.
that
That
Yeah.
child lasted a lot longer.
It did last longer.
Mm-hmm.
It did. Well, listen. To our audience, thank y'all for coming in. Y'all were amazing too. But we'll be if y'all can be here tomorrow night at 9 o'clock. That will be awesome.
Atmos, do you need
That's
me?
right.
I'm sorry.
Atmos, do you need me?
Yes,
Last minute.
Okay.
please, if you can.
Okay.
I always need you. I always need, yes, thank you. Please, Shay. Anybody, I know Shay, I know you've been busy. So I think as long as I have at least, 3 ladies.
Oh, I'm good. I'll be here.
Okay. As long as I got at least 3 or 4 ladies on, me, I can bounce around. King Johan, it's a blessing when he can be here, but I know he got a life too. So do I, but I can pretty much bounce around from different characters.
Well, I told my family, like, I'm not around. It's like a month. Just guys, give me a month, and I'm always around. My time.
Y'all know that this is like our 20. I don't want to say 23rd day in a row, but like pretty much like we're on like episode. This is episode 24.
Wow.
So
Wow.
we have been killing it.
I keep thinking to myself, like, what happens after this? Like,
Okay.
We on to the next trial. We gotta
Anticipating this.
Somebody said that we should read the Tim Norman trial.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
That'd be good.
Is it
Yes.
possible to like get 2008 or no?
I would love to get 2008.
Oh, that would be
I kind
crazy.
of want to see that one too. That's what I had said the other night. Remember, I was asking about had anybody saw that one.
I want to research how to get those transcripts. I
I
just
wonder
wonder.
if it's purged because it's so long.
Right.
I mean, technically, it's only
I'm sure
14
it's
years.
probably
No, they had to
yeah.
unpurge them because they have the transcripts.
Oh, you're right. They
Right.
They're
Right. They have the
yeah.
transcripts from.
So they're around. I just don't
Is
know
it on
what
Pacer?
they might be cheaper. No, because Pacers got federal.
People saying that we should do 2008.
I
That's
think
Yeah,
what
I
so.
think
I think
so.
so.
I think
Tell
it
the
would
whole
be great to
story.
do.
I'm
I
gonna
think it
call
would
the
be great to
courthouse. What
do before
courthouse
his
is
state trial.
2008? What was the name of that courthouse? Does anyone know?
It was off of 26 in California, apparently.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right?
That's what I was just about to say. It's close to 26.
I'm gonna look it up on Tuesday. I'm gonna call and find out what I can find out because I really want to read them.
Yeah,
Right.
because I wanted to let these people know because everybody on the other side, P-Hive steady saying this and that and that. Yeah, put the nail in the coffin.
Exactly.
And the
And
perfect
we
time
had
to do it would be
2008
right before his.
and the feds in New York and this trial. They don't have anything they could say. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Right.
they gonna still say something. We know them, honey.
Of
That's
course.
why they don't listen.
Thank you, Ritalia. Thank you. Says Atmos. My mom and I talk about your show every day. That's awesome.
I bet you these people that do that, I bet they quote unquote rug at their house is so high it's gotta have a ladder because they've been sweeping stuff under the rug so long.
Oh man.
Hey, yo, they say Tim Norman trial starts this week. Does it? I don't know.
Yeah.
Who
'cause he
is
killed
that?
his nephew. He had his
Matter of
nephew
fact-
killed.
Is that who is that? Is that the guy
Tim
from Sweetie
Norman.
Pies?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's Sweetie
Yeah.
Pies.
Yeah.
Okay.
That set up his nephew to be killed
The
and
one
trying
with
to
the
collect his
hips.
insurance
Okay.
money.
I know who you're talking about
Yeah,
now.
the one
Yep.
with the hips.
The one with the hips.
Man,
Yeah.
listen.
Those are both going to be the 2008 and Tim Norman are going to both be good, especially they're going to both be good, you know?
Right.
Oh, indeed.
And 2008 would be great to do before doing his state trial if he has one.
Indeed.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
You know
what
what
it-
trial starts?
Yeah.
So it says
Is it-
9/6 is when Tim Norman starts, but I think we're gonna still be in the middle of this one.
Yeah.
So that day after
Maybe we could get that one afterwards and then we could work on doing after his is over, we could do the 2008.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
we're going to
Because
still
we
need
we're
something to
gonna need
do.
something in between before the state trial. And
Right.
guys, the state trial is gonna probably be televised.
Right.
Yeah,
So we
state
need to
trial.
do the state trial. The
You
You
people
don't
haven't
think it's
watched
going to
that.
be too explicit
Oh,
for them to
okay.
televise it?
Oh yeah.
Good question.
It
I don't.
might
They need
be.
to
Good
tell.
question.
Especially
The
with
judge
the
in
but
that
think
case
about
said
it.
that he was gonna tell because
And for them to
the
have
people have a
anonymity,
right.
they can't take them. But they're gonna have a booth.
They're gonna
Yeah,
do
they'll
it
just
because the
blur.
news has a
They'll
right
blur
to.
it.
Yeah, because the news has a right to televise it.
They do.
So
Right.
yeah, it's just the
So
feds
they
that don't
might
allow them
lower the
to.
camera, on a person that doesn't want to be seen.
Right.
But they will try and televise it for sure.
They'll put
Court
it like on
TV
the
and
seal,
Law
on the
Crime are
state
gonna fight
seal.
for that.
Yeah. Normally when there's like people they don't want to be televised, they like put the camera on the seal, the state seal in the courtroom or somewhere
Blatant
else,
seal.
you know.
But I don't
And
think
then
anybody's going by like Jane Doe in that trial.
yeah, that would be the only way. Like they would have to ask for a special thing where they're not. Because I watch trials like I said all the
I
time.
bet you
I do
Jane
too.
will though.
And
If Jane is
Reed,
in
do
there,
you know that the Piketon massacre is starting on Tuesday? Do you know that trial?
the
The
what?
who?
The Piketon massacre.
I don't know.
I don't
It's out
know
of
who that
Ohio.
is.
A family of 4 killed a family of 8
What?
over a custody battle.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Oh,
Down in
well, you have to look that one up.
That's going to be starting on Court TV Tuesday.
Wow.
On Tuesday. Okay. Okay. That's
All right,
good.
y'all. Well, listen. What we'll do, we'll talk about it more tomorrow, and we'll come up with a plan. Somebody said they want to play. Candace said she want to play Lisa Van Allen. She want to play Lisa and Sparkle.
Oh,
Oh God.
Van Allen was like pregnant in 2008 trial. Yes,
Yeah,
she
she
was.
Yeah, she
was.
was.
Yeah.
She was pregnant in 2008.
And
Well, y'all listen, man. Y'all have a blessed night. I'm gonna go. Get down here with the baby and everything. But I will see y'all tomorrow night at 9:00. I'll schedule it out.
All righty.
All right. Good night,
Okay. All right.
everybody.
Thank y'all
Great
very
read,
much.
everybody. Good night.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Peace
Bye
out.
bye.
Bye bye.
Oh, 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 no. I don't need negative energy, wrap me in positive synergy. I have been doubted through life, been there and done that with trifling people who told me my style would not work. I told them they wrong, they're struggling too long. This song is for you, I'm proving you wrong. Get out my way, get out my way, get out my way, get out my way.
I'm a genuine person. Like if I love you, I love you. If I don't mess with you, I don't mess with you. It's as simple as that.